Okay, so I think we're live. Hey, Paula, how are you? Good to see you. I hope you're doing well. Hey, Mino Dino, what's going on, buddy? Sorry I'm a little late. I've been running around trying to get some more footage tonight. Hey, Lisa Joe, good to see you. Good to see everybody. But again, I'm sorry I'm a little late. It's 1:04 now. It's early Sunday morning. Today's the 9th of March, 2025. Um, I was out getting some footage of what we're going to cover later tonight. But I hope everybody's doing well. Melissa Wildcard's here. Hey, Melissa, good to see you. Once again, I'm going to apologize to Southern Gal last night because I missed her live. I don't know what the hell I was thinking, but it was pretty windy. It's been pretty windy here the last couple of days. So when I'm out at work driving around, it's you got tree limbs down. Hey, Heather, it's good to see you. Starting to panic. You're okay. Oh, for me, yeah, I was a little late tonight getting on, but it's good to see everybody. It's good to see Melissa here. I haven't seen Melissa for a while. It's good to see Lisa Joe. It's good to see everybody. But I'll go play. We're going to go over some of the true crime cases of the week. There's a lot of shit going on. So we'll get right to it. I hope Heather's doing well. Good to see everybody. I'll play an intro and we'll be right back. Hope everybody's well again. Let me do this here and we'll be right back. That's classic. You're usually asleep when I go live. Yeah, yeah. Only the crazy people are up this late, and I'm one of them. Good to see you though, Melissa. Very good to see you, Jenny in the house. Good to see Jenny here. Good to see everybody here. It is a little late. It's 1:07. It's pretty cold out still. It's pretty windy still. Not as windy as yesterday was, and the other day. They've had some pretty good size winds towards the coast, 60, 70 mile an hour winds. Yeah, I can't wait. Days are getting longer though, you can tell. And shit's melting, so that's good news. I don't know if shit's been melting yesterday and today, but so I'm doing a pretty good job of melting shit. So hope everybody's well. Like I said, I can't believe I missed Song Gal's live last night. Maybe it's one of the things. I thought she was still on vacation, but apparently it's just my stupidity. I just missed it. Hope she's doing well. Hope everybody's doing well. Just got done watching Spaceballs. It's like the best movie ever. You know who made that movie was what the hell was his name? The little guy. The guy that played in Bob and Zip McKenzie. Remember him? He also played in Strange Brew. What the hell was his name? He played in Ghostbusters. Geez, now I can't remember his name. You were the short guy there. Anyways, no, Rick Moranis is freaking funny. The guy's that guy was awesome. I think he's dead. I think he died. Candy was in it, right? John Candy, yeah, John. That was like the whole. The guy was awesome. Bro, that was such a great movie. It's one of those movies when you see it on, you got to watch it because it's just a classic. That and like Back to the Future. All right, so enough of my rambling. Let's. I think his wife died and he retired. Yeah, I don't know. I thought I heard he was dead. Maybe it's John Candy. He played in Bob and Zip. Remember Bob and Zip McKenzie? Those are for us old dudes. But it's good to see everybody. Let me hide my face here. There's some really strange shit going on with StreamYard. There's some new things that are going on here that I have no idea. Rick is alive? Oh, good. No, at least he's not dead. Honey, I Shrunk the Kids. That's right. He's in Honey, I Shrunk the Kids too. He was in Ghostbusters too. He's the Keymaster. This movie was flat. All right. So let's see here. Where are we going to go? What are we going to start with? Let's do. I do want to go out to. Let's go out to this case here because this has been in the news. This is going on in Oregon, and I just had this up. Hold on one second here. This is the missing toddler here in, I believe it's Stilletz, Oregon. But let me. There's two cases. There's one out in Oregon, and then there's another one in Denver or outside of Denver where this kid was found after 7 years. That was in Douglas County, but I want to play this one here first. Hold on a second. Give me a second to pull this. So this was done. Let's do 5 days ago first, and then we'll kind of backtrack from that. So we'll play this one here. Okay, so let me share this on a second. It's Oregon. What did I say? Oregon. You have to pardon my New England accent. It's right here. Okay, so it's Southern Gal. Hey, Southern Gal, how are you? Good to see you. Again, sorry about last night. I don't know what the hell I was thinking. People are starting to get nasty towards Dane's parents. It's really awful. It's just people go crazy with shit like this. I don't know what happens. People just if you don't have anything, you know the old saying, if you don't have anything nice to say, just don't say it at all. That seems to be nothing anymore. Like, especially on social media, it's not to mention that the kid's missing, and now people are attacking the family. It's just so sad. But anyways, this was done. Okay, so if anybody hasn't heard about this here, this is Dane. Hold on a second. This is Dane Paulson. Is that the name? And he went missing. I'll look this up and I'll let the video speak for itself. But this was done 5 days ago. He's in Lincoln County, I think it is. It's towards the coast up there in Oregon. Let's play this.
That search in Lincoln County for the 2-year-old boy is ending as it got dark tonight, but will resume in the morning. I'm Lisa Balick, and this is the 10. From the FBI to neighbors, a huge search underway for a little boy who disappeared from his back.
So it's who just came in? Gail Hurd is here. I hope you're okay, Gail. I know you weren't feeling good the last week. I hope you're well. It's Oregon. Yes, I think it's Tyler Goodrich. Another one of those strange cases. But it's good to see Southern Gal here. Yeah, my signal tonight is not going to be all that great. It's been windy the past couple of days. I feel like the river swept him away. Yeah, it's possible. Let's play this here. So this, this was 5 days ago. Sorry.
Yard in Stilletz, just east of Depot Bay. The toddler vanished yesterday afternoon. Our Ariel Salk was out with the community members today who are praying and trying to help find him.
Hundreds of people searching these woods looking for 2-year-old Dane Paulson.
Light a candle right now and pray for the family.
For
So this is, hold on a second. Goodrich is another case where people were nasty. His husband was just dragged by Tyler's family. Yeah, it's been, I'm telling you, people just go nuts. Let's get a bearing of where we are here. So she just said east of Depot Bay. So let's back out of this a little bit. This is way over here on the coast. I mean, I've never been out. This is the Siletz River here. Or did she say east? So it's over in here somewhere. This is the river here. This is every parent's worst freaking nightmare here. But this is basically around where it was. So let's I'll try to get back to that. Hilliard back still has intense pain, but no hold back up right around shoulder. Oh, you poor thing. It's okay. No problem with off topic here. It's I go off topic all the time. Back still has intense pain, but not whole back, upper right around shoulder. Have you gone to the doctor, Gail? Oh, that's awful. Thinking about you for sure, no doubt. Portland, Maine, the Martin family. I'm covering that very shortly. Yep, that's they just pulled half of the car out. Yeah, I got it up here in the queue, so we'll be covering that very shortly. There's a lot of shit going on this week here. A lot of bizarre cases that are just now coming to light, I think, here. All right, so here we go. Sorry, hold on a second. Yes, every 2 weeks for months. That's terrible, Gail. That's absolutely horrible. Let me back this up a tiny bit here.
Pray for the family.
For over a day, the people of Siletz have been helping with local law enforcement search for the missing toddler.
We've never really had anything like that this close to home.
From the water to the land, the Lincoln County Sheriff's Office combed the area with help from other agencies, including the FBI. Using search dogs, drones with cameras, and thermal imaging. In the meantime, they have asked the community volunteers to stay away from certain search areas.
Because they have dogs out there, excuse me, that are searching. And if too many people get out there in the woods, then it tends to distract the dogs because the dogs are hunting for human scent. And so if the people are out there, it's also covering up any tracks.
According to the sheriff's office, Dane was playing in the yard of his home out of sight of his parents around 4 p.m. yesterday when he disappeared. Neighbors say they have been helping from the moment the child went missing.
The mama came over here and frantic, asking if I'd seen the baby. And of course, we went directly over there to the property and started to help do the search.
Let's get a closer look at the area around where the child disappeared. You can see the forest area and the Siletz River immediately to the north.
Okay, so hold on a second. So this is where we just were on the map, right? Here's hold on a second here. Okay, that's better. It's 229. I'll see if I can find that because this kind of goes right through this area here. I've never been out here, so and there's Stiletto there, and this must be the river here. So okay.
Area and the Siletz River immediately.
Yeah, that would suck. I don't know how deep this is or not.
To the north.
Dane is friendly and fearless and was comfortable around strangers in water, but cannot swim. Dane is known to love water and vehicles.
Dane was last seen wearing a gray fuzzy hoodie with teddy bear ears, black pants, and white shoes.
I've been checking in with the mama.
Let's see here. Sorry, I keep cutting back on this here. I'm trying to cue things up and try to follow this thing. Gray fuzzy hoodie, teddy bear ears, missing boy, black pants, white shoes.
Teddy bear ears, black pants, and white shoes.
I've been checking in with the mama and prayed with her a few times.
The problem here is it's not been cooperating either here. It's been, I don't know what it was like today, but I know last week it was pretty crappy.
Investigators were initially looking for a gold station wagon that may have been involved, but are no longer following that lead.
Through a community tip, this vehicle and operator has since been located. Following investigation, the subject and described vehicle are no longer a point of interest in this investigation.
Please bring baby Dane home, Father. Please bring him home.
Tonight, the community comes together in prayer, hoping to find the toddler alive.
It's very, very trying. It's been an emotional roller coaster.
Community members told me that law enforcement asked them for their safety and to check back in at 7 a.m. to continue their search. Reporting in Lincoln County, Ariel Salk, back to you.
I don't know what happened. See, this is I don't know, but I'm going to go to the, hold on a second. I'm going to go to the, this was the press conference that was done 4 days ago. So maybe this will give us a little bit more life to this case here. So I'm going to fast forward. Just give me a second here because there's a lot of dead time here in the beginning. So let's share this. Yeah, this is a press conference. This was done. Yeah, they were trying to be really careful with that car because I think there's some evidence in there that they don't want to disturb, but it's just talking about that other case. That whole case has been a mystery for a very, very, very long time. But anyways, this is the press conference that was done on this toddler. This was done 4 days ago. Most recent video. But this is the press conference here from the Lincoln County Sheriff's Office. Yeah, that's the case. I'm going to go over to, technically, this is going to be the missing person case of the week here, the Dane Paulson one here. But this, I'll be going over this one too, the 7-year-old that was found kidnapped. Yep. CBD, there's no THC. It helps greatly. Yeah, I don't know what else to say. I don't know if you've got another opinion on what's going on, but I would definitely try that. That seems like you're in a lot of pain. And just awful, just terrible.
Good evening, and thank you for being here for a community update on the search for Dane Paulson.
Let me know if everybody can hear that. I've thought about it. Yeah, whiskey might help. Here.
I'm Jess Palma, the Public Information Officer for the Lincoln County Sheriff's Office, and today I'm joined by Sheriff Adam Shanks and Sergeant Jason Spano. Before we begin, please take this time to silence any cell phones, radios, or other devices that may cause a disturbance. Speakers share their statements. There will be time for some questions from members of the media. In just a moment, I will hand this over to Sheriff Shanks, but first I will provide some updates on the ongoing search for Dane. Before I begin, I need to recognize how
Okay, so I'm going to leave it there at 480 because I don't think it's going to get any better than that.
difficult this has been on Dane's family, especially his parents, Shamet and Aaron. The pain and tragedy that they are facing is unimaginable. Our teams and supporting agencies have been working to find Dane, and our hearts are heavy. I would also like to thank our community for your continued support and concern as we work diligently to bring Dane home. We understand the deep impact this situation has on his family and our community, and we are committed to finding answers. Despite intense search and rescue efforts in the surrounding area and waterways, as well as investigations following up on community tips, Dane has not yet been located. Our teams, search and rescue, mounted posse, and partnering agencies, as well as community volunteers, have thoroughly searched the local area. The search has utilized every tool we've been able to employ, including but not limited to additional personnel and volunteers, drones, canines, thermal imaging, night vision, watercraft, more. These tools have enabled us to cover more ground in a short time frame, enabled us official up reporting tips and offering food or other accommodations to responders. Over the last 72 hours, searchers have covered over 682 acres and 341 walking miles. Over 2 river miles have been thoroughly searched by divers. At least 195 leads and tips have been investigated. This investigation is still very active and remains a priority for our team and communities. We want to bring Dane home. Our communities continue to ask for ways they can support Dane's family. Right now, they just want their son back. If you have information related to Dane's disappearance, we ask that you report it to the tip line at 541-265-0669.
This is just absolutely horrible. This is this goes on every single day in this country. It's just weird. Gail Crown and Cola works wonders. Let's see. It's not psychoactive, and you can take it with meds or empties. It helps so much with pain, especially inflammation. Yeah, that would be definitely worth the thought. I missed that. Did I miss that? Yeah, well, definitely no life at all for much, just agony. Went to several doctors. I bought Crown Royal the other day. Was thinking it would relax the muscles and nerves. Haven't tried it yet. Well, pop it open, girl. That sucks. It's awful. They should give you some sort of pain medication though that could take some of the pain.
When sharing information that may help us bring Dane home, be as specific as possible. Note the time, exact location, and get clear photos or videos when possible. So community volunteers are officially being organized at the volunteer staging area. They may choose to continue to search for Dane on their own. We respectfully remind our community, if they are choosing to continue the search, to keep safety in mind. Avoid searching at night, and avoid private property without updated permission from the landowner. As more
These guys here during these press conferences here, especially some of the local police and whoever else is assisting, maybe the county police here, they're always looking into the crowd for suspicious people.
information becomes available, we will continue to share updates on our Flash Alert page and Facebook. Now I will invite Sheriff Shanks to share his statement.
All right, so hold on a second. I want to, where the hell am I? Over here. Okay, let's get, hold on a second. I got way too many screens open. I'm sorry. Okay, so this was done. This is basically a write-up of this here. This was updated today, posted March 8th, 2025. So this was earlier today. This is the latest. The search continues for Dane Paulson, a 2-year-old boy who went missing from his backyard in Siletz, Oregon. Oops, I'm sorry, Oregon, 1 week ago. So a week ago, because that means 7 days. Mystery continues to swirl around the boy's disappearance as Lincoln County deputies shifted their search efforts to the river on Tuesday. Eesh. After evidence indicated he may have been at the river's edge. Oh, that's awful. Station wagon possibly. Oh, that's the case we're going to follow next, I think. As a result, officials say they are running daily methodical searches over long spans with a boat covering a 14-mile stretch. Other news. I think today, was it today or yesterday? As a result, officials are saying they're running daily methodical searches over long spans with a boat covering this. Okay, so additionally, they say these daily water searches with boats equipped with sonar and underwater drones will continue. I'll have to get some information on this this river here. Many community members are also using their own personal boats to aid in the search. So I'm assuming they're thinking he's unfortunately in here. Officials say the day he was wearing a gray fuzzy hoodie with ears, black pants, and blue and white shoes. Law enforcement later updated description to include that he has brown hair and green eyes. Officials immediately began searching the family's residence and surrounding areas shortly after Dane's disappearance. So this doesn't mean much now. I don't know. They had a be on the lookout Bolo for this station wagon. I think they found that and discredited that. I'm surprised it wasn't a white car because everybody always sees a white car. Search efforts continued among community involved K9 units. This is absolutely terrible. So law enforcement said there was no evidence to suggest criminal actions are involved. And if you need any information or have any information, call the Lincoln County Sheriff's Office at 541-265-0669. And once I get my ticker fixed, I'll be able to scroll that across the bottom of these. So let's Mustang 65 in here. Good to see you. Muscle relaxers don't work. Taking Tylenol and ibuprofen, and that's how. Well, I'm glad you're able to be here tonight. Packing pads and messenger. I wouldn't wish this on Rick Snay. Oh, it's fucking funny. It's Southern Gal. Southern Gal's awesome. She had a great live last night. I missed it. I caught a little bit of the replay earlier when I was heading up to New London to do that stuff that I was doing tonight. Probably listen to the rest of it tomorrow night. So let's get back to this here. Where the hell was I? Right here? Yes, the press conference. And I'll try to get some information on that river there. This is the press conference right here. Okay.
Good evening. I am Sheriff Adam Shanks. Dane's disappearance is absolutely heartbreaking. His family is experiencing unimaginable pain. As a parent myself, my heart is broken just seeing what they are going through. Our teams and supporting agencies have held this search close to our hearts. On behalf of all responding agencies and community volunteers, I want to express sincere empathy and compassion. I would also like to recognize and thank our community for your continued support and concern as we work to locate Dane. We understand the deep impact that situation has on his family and our community. We are committed to finding answers. I want to thank our communities for doing what they do best during this search, which is coming together to support.
Okay, so I just went to Wikipedia here. So the river itself is in counties Polk and Lincoln. This is Siletz River in Oregon. Let's see here. Location near Lincoln City, Lincoln County. We got the coordinates in here. I can probably go to that. Elevation 0 feet, 0 meters. So it's not up there. Basin size 373 square miles. Length is 67.5 miles. Average 1,500 cubic feet. 42 point M3 squared. So it's a good size. I mean, it's definitely something you don't want to get caught in. The average flow of this river and its station is 1,500 cubic feet per second. This is from a drainage area of 202 square miles, or about 54% of the total Siletz River watershed. So unfortunately, if he's in there, he's going to be in there for a while. All right, so let's go back to this here.
Support each other. Over 200 community members throughout our county, across the state, and even surrounding states have responded to help by reporting to the volunteer staging area. This effectively helped us cover the local area faster than would have otherwise been possible. Our communities also have helped by sharing official updates from our page, which helped keep others informed and on the lookout. You've also not hesitated to call in tips that might help us bring Dane home.
Oh, I don't even want to read that. I watched her live, just couldn't at the moment, but I did hit the like. Who's live? And just to remind people, if you guys have channels, just don't forget to throw them in the chat. This conversation is going off the cliff. Depends on the strain. If you're concerned about that, get a hybrid gummy, not an indica. All right, so let's go here.
We know this is a difficult time for Dane's family, and we are doing everything we can to bring him home. From the bottom of my heart, and on behalf of Dane's family, thank you.
I think it's possible that he slipped. I mean, it's possible maybe he slipped into the river. It's a beautiful place. I mean, that place is really nice.
For all you have done. However, we are not finished. I will now invite Sergeant Jason Spano to provide an update on anticipated next steps for the search of Dane.
Good evening. I am Sergeant Jason.
Is that tonight? Are we changing the? No. Make sure you're out the door before they wake up, though. Dino is awesome. Dino is amazing. I hope you're doing well too, Heather. Remember at 2:00 the clocks jump forward to 3. No, is that tonight? That's tonight. I thought we weren't doing that. I don't know. I have to Google that. I'll check.
Jason Spano. I know our entire community has been affected by Dane's disappearance, and our hearts are with his family.
That's the case, and I'm really late.
The way we work to bring him home. In addition to community members, highly trained personnel, search canines, and specialized equipment have thoroughly covered the local area. This includes ground, water, and air searches. Based on the information from search efforts and following up on tips, we will now be concentrating on a very focused area. So far, the evidence available indicates
Right.
Dane was at the river's edge before his disappearance.
She's right. It's
Because
right.
of this, we will be focusing the majority of our ongoing resources on searching the Siletz River. We are using drones, divers, watercraft, canines, and
No, you're right. It's today. I can't believe it's already today. I mean, that's good news, but we're really late. I apologize for that. But that's tonight for sure. Great. We get to see the snow for another hour too.
even a sign cutter to thoroughly cover the area. A sign cutter is a highly trained individual on tracking techniques that involve finding and following signs left behind by people or animals. The terrain in our overall search area includes surrounding property, forested rough terrain, the Siletz River, and riverbanks. Due to a thorough search and comprehension of these areas, search operations will now be focusing on a more concentrated area, highlighting the Siletz River. Although the land within the search area has been thoroughly combed, we cannot 100% guarantee that a small child, hidden by thick brush or other visual impairments, even with specialized.
Do you think Bear? Do you think JCN's here? Hey JCN, good to see you. You're listening at work? Good to see you. Always good to see JCN in here. She's awesome. Great channel. Everybody's got great channels in here. Senegal's amazing. She's just an amazing person. JCN. Paula's got a great channel. Jocelyn has a great channel. Everybody's got great channels. You don't have to change your clocks left and behind those. Yeah, I didn't know we were doing that anymore, but I guess we are. Just one less thing I gotta remember. You know, it's,
And search canines.
lose an hour worth of sleep.
Official watercraft. This search is ongoing, and we're working to bring Dane back to his family.
We will now be taking a few related questions from members of the media. Please raise your hand, wait to be called on, and state your first and last name as.
Shelby Slaughter, KT News. We say River's Edge, which sounds very specific, but then we also say for people to call in and be as specific as possible. So is there any reason to believe that Dane may have been taken at the River's Edge?
We do not have any evidence to suggest that there was an abduction or any criminal activity in this case.
So there was with the Oregonian. So what is the evidence that he was near the River's Edge for his disappearance?
Like I said, we've used the canines and we've used sign cutter as well. There is some impressions down there, but that's what we've got so far.
Steve Carr, Lincoln County leader. What's the visibility like for the divers? Is that pretty difficult for them to see underwater?
It's difficult, but I'm being told it's 4 to 5 feet, which is relatively good for what I'm being told on the rivers.
Did you have a question?
Yes. You mentioned that you're not getting more now.
Yeah, we're at 72 hours now. We have not discussed when we will stop searching. As far as we're going to go until we have decided that we've covered everything we can cover.
Looking at the square mileage covered, you said 2 miles of waterway. Is that correct?
At least 2 miles of the Siletz River has been covered by divers.
And so going forward, are you going to refocus on that downstream?
We'll probably do it.
What case was that, JCN? I think I know Florida's house. Marshall's been through. How late you sleep tonight? I don't have to lose sleep. Just sleep an hour later. Exactly. Well, I don't. It doesn't bother me anyways because I work nights, but I prefer to have more daylight, so I don't care. I mean, it's. I'm just the type of person I'd rather see more daylight than more dark. But what are you gonna do? I'm with Dino. I just rather not change the clocks back at all.
A combination of both. The divers we've had a lot of support from outside agencies with the dive teams, and they've done a very good job for us. And
It just sucks. It's just such a horrible thing. I mean, parents, like the worst freaking nightmare. And it can happen to anybody. 2-year-old kids, not trying to blame victims here, but 2-year-old kids, you got to watch them pretty carefully because they can just, they can just go off on their own at any minute and just, you always have to have an eye on them for sure.
We appreciate them. But they are, obviously, it's very physically challenging to be diving on a river. The river is very fast right now. So, they will be back and continue to work for us. And it's up to them and the search and rescue people. They're the experts and they will decide what they're going to focus on.
So is the ground search finished?
No, we have not concluded the ground search, no.
Okay. And how does the scale change? I mean, it sounds like you're saying like you're focusing on the river. How does that affect the ground search?
The ground search will continue. It may or may not be scaled back, but it's continuing until we have decided we've covered enough ground. But we are focusing the resources we have and the search area to the river. And
what kind of is there? There's got to be black bear. There's got to be brown bear up there, I would think. Not saying that bear took. I'm just saying it is. I'm assuming it is bear season right now, March.
As well.
Going back to your resources, just how many agencies have been going in and out of the river, and just how many divers?
We have had 13 divers, and they span from all over the state. I will miss somebody if I name them all, but several sheriff's offices have sent diver teams to us.
Two-parter. Have you found any of Dane's clothing in your search? And two, when you say he was near the riverbank before he disappeared, was he near the riverbank by his home or had he wandered off?
Let's see. So the first question is no, we have not found any clothing.
Okay.
The second question is he was relatively near his home, correct?
Okay.
We'll take our last question.
You said you were suspending organizing the volunteer search. This is obviously a big community interest. There's a large crowd here. What is your advice to folks who are here that want to help continue the search?
So it says here, hold on a second. This is during spring and autumn seasons, which is, I don't know when they consider spring to begin in this part of the country. I'm assuming it's before us. Black bears tend to be more active during daylight and crepuscular periods, but in the months or so before and after the period of winter dormancy, they are less active overall and more nocturnal. Black bears in Oregon occur in the Cascade Range and west to the Pacific Ocean and in the Blue and Wallowa Mountains. The species is absent from arid regions of central and southeastern Oregon. So it's possible.
Well, the organization, as far as staging volunteers here at this park where we all are today, is no longer being actively maintained because there are
I agree with that.
priorities with not priorities. There are other commitments that those volunteers have that they have to fulfill on their own. If the community chooses to continue to search on their own, again, keeping safety in mind. This is a rough forested terrain, right? The water can be dangerous. It is
I hear,
very cold. Keep your own safety in mind.
You're talking about the 2-year-old. He's been missing for 7 days, I think. I heard a long time ago that the reason why they did especially in the fall when they did the moving of the clocks is because of Halloween. They wanted to sell more candy. So if they could turn the clocks back earlier and make it feel darker earlier, then they could sell more candy. That's what I heard. I don't know if that's true. Goodrich again? Yeah, we'll be going over that Goodrich case fairly soon. If it was a bear, they would have found something. You think so? Yeah, I'm not saying I don't know if it was a bear. It's weird that he just disappeared like that. I mean, the river's probably the most probable, I would think.
Do not search after dark again.
Especially since they're ruling out any type of foul play.
Low visibility.
It just sucks. I don't know if there was an Amber Alert issued for this either. I don't know anything. Drag marks alone, yeah. I've always heard for farmers. Yeah, it could be. I know this is either the waking up time or shortly before this. I'll look into that. I'll look to see when spring is actually what they consider to be spring season out here in Oregon.
Their basic regular awareness as far as being outdoors in the wilderness. And then a big reminder, private property. We don't have permission to be on other people's property. So keeping in mind, you need permission to be there if you're searching.
What's the water count?
This can.
Remember, we covered that bear case last year. The guy was just sitting out. I forget where this was. I was in, I want to say Arizona. Guy was just on his lawn in a lawn chair, and he got dragged away by a bear. And if it wasn't for, they would have never found him. Of course, he died from the bear attack. But if it wasn't for the neighbor, I would have never found the guy. Bear are pretty quick. They'll take you and then just run. The bear, I'm just saying. Some people are more depressed in the winter around winter holidays. Studies show PEO and mental illness do better outside in good weather jobs. Yeah. It's tough here for people who suffer from that, especially up here in New England. You hunt black bears. Good for you. That's something that I would never do. Two things I'm hunting: bear and snake. I'm just not doing it. They can smell 7 times better than the bloodhound. Yeah, bear are. First of all, just not doing it. Not gonna happen. I told Steve last time he was up there, Mr. Steve. I told Steve when he went with Ruckus to make sure that Ruckus punches the bear in the face, because that's what they tell you to do, and then play dead. They see better than people think. Yeah, they can run fast too. We have them here too. They move pretty good. They're not the size of the bear out there, but they can still kill you. You live in northern Minnesota. I'm pretty sure they hunt bear around here too. I'm just not doing it. Don't play dead with a black bear. Never punch a bear in the face. Well, that's why I told Steve to have Ruckus do it. See what happens. Have you ever seen a polar bear and a black bear mate? Nah. You have to clap them in the ears. Funny. I kid around with Ruckus all the time. If it attacks you, fight. Yeah. First thing I'm doing is I'm running. I don't care. I know you're not supposed to run, but I put all my faith in my legs, bro. I feel like if you punch a bear in the face, I actually think you're supposed to punch a shark in the face, right? Try to kick it in the chunk. Yeah, that'd be my luck. No, run downhill. Just whatever you do, don't die from a bear. All right, we're going to listen to a little bit
Concludes
more of
our
this.
community
Get the
update.
latest
Thank you
play on
again
this. and
for
then
your
we'll move on to
assistance
something else.
and support throughout search efforts.
I just hope the kid's okay. I just hope for some strange reason it's not as bad as it sounds, but we're going into day 7 here, day 8. It's I just hope, just hope.
For more information and updates on
The parents have got to be going crazy.
the search for Dane, continue to follow our Flash Alert page, which is flashalert.net/ID/LCSO.
Sorry, she asked
Thank
what the
you.
water temperature.
That'd be my luck. Like, I don't meet the only bear that's really, really good at running downhill. Get their eyeballs. Just tickle it.
Was. Do you guys know that?
What was that question? I didn't know.
LCSO.
Sorry, she asked
Thank
what the
you.
water temperature was. Do you guys know that?
Between 44 and 46 degrees.
Thank you.
That's not good, right? 44 and 46. Hypothermia. When does hypothermia it's got to be, that can't be good.
Thank you again.
All right, so hold on a second here. Let me jump out of this here. We'll play the latest one. I feel like you shouldn't punch things in the face. Yeah, that's probably not good. Get their eyeballs. That's fucking classic. Do a Yeah, internet's working okay here because it seems like it's working pretty crappy on my end. All right, so let's go to the latest. This is we're gonna go do the latest one here. Right here. No.
Where search teams.
Okay, so this is very short. This was done 5 hours ago. Boats have been searching for 2-year-old Dane Paulson along the Siletz River using sonar and underwater drones. That sucks.
Continue looking for a missing 2-year-old. Dane Paulson was last seen last Saturday night playing in the front of his home in Siletz, which is near the Siletz River. The Lincoln County Sheriff's Office shared photos today showing boats searching along the river using sonar and underwater drones. There's no suspicion of criminal activity at this time, but if you have any information to report, call the tip line 541-265-0669.
All right, so that
It is day 6 in the search for a 2-year-old boy who went missing in Siletz, Oregon, northeast of.
All right, so that's that. I'll keep an eye on that, but it's not looking good, unfortunately. Just sucks. It's got to suck for the family. I do want to get into this one now here, and I got this pulled up, so we'll read this together, and then we'll go to a video. Lisa, you call me an elephant nut. My old man wrestled a bear at the tavern when he was younger. Cool. If I see a bear, I'm just getting the hell out. I'm not waiting around. Your sister lives in Montana. She was trapped in her house 3 days by a grizzly bear. Once when her husband went hunting, she says, banging pans, blowing whistles, and making lots of noise when confronted. Yeah. We've had bear situations around here where they just go in your car. If they can smell food, they'll just go right in your car. And they can climb too. They can climb pretty good. Jenny had some things. If you beat the bear, you won $100. Something he clapped in his ears and made him. Yeah. I know that when they get hungry, they'll eat just about anything. All right, so we're gonna do this. Let me share this screen. We'll read this together, I guess. So this is the latest on this case here. This has been going on for a long time. All the way back December 7th, 1958. These people at least a couple of them have been missing for 66 years, 3 months, and 2 days. And this was, I don't know when this was updated, but so this is a whole family. This is the Martin family. Susan Martin, Virginia Martin, missing a Kenneth R. Martin, Barbara Martin. And so this is from here to here, left to right here. So the people who are missing is Kenneth, the father, Barbara Martin, who is down here. Oh, Kenneth, Barbara, and Barbie. And the two here have been found. They were found earlier in the investigation here. So the Martin family in Port Mulligar, United States, disappeared on December 7th, 1958 in the Columbia River Gorge. During a day trip together to gather greenery for Christmas decorations. The missing included the husband, Kenneth Martin, age 54, his wife, Barbara, 48, the couple's 3 daughters, Barbara, Barbie, Virginia, and Susan, 14, 13, and 11, respectively. The family's eldest child, Donald, was in the United States Navy, stationed in New York State at the time of the disappearance. Several months after the family vanished, the bodies of Susan and Virginia were discovered. So these two here. Downstream on the shores of the Columbia River, roughly 30 miles apart from each other. I did not know that. I didn't know they were found apart from each other like that. Okay, so police initially speculated the family's car may have crashed in the river, though the circumstances surrounding the event could not be fully explained. Complicating the case was the discovery of a stolen handgun and the arrest of 2 ex-convicts in the area the day after the family's disappearance. Investigators were unable to determine if the incidents were in any way connected. All right, so we're going to fast forward here to now. Here, where am I? Right here. I'm going to go right. This is 2 days ago. Sheriff, I did that already. Hold on a second. I just had it right here. This is the one I want to play here. Okay, so this is we'll play this one first. Let me see. Stop screen. Oops. This one was done here. Right here. So this is Poland author J.B. Fisher explores outstanding questions in the case of the missing Martin family. And this was done a day ago. We'll be here for a couple of minutes here on this case here, because I think this is very interesting, this whole case. And they found the car, and we'll be going over that too shortly here. But they were trying to be very careful with the car once they found it, because it here we go.
It was kind of a big step in this case for the Martin family. We know that a frame and possibly some tires have been pulled out of the Columbia River. As someone who has had such a fascination and made this part of your career, tell me a little bit about how we're feeling today.
Well, it's definitely a lot to take in. I mean, on the one hand, there is a sense of.
Hey, Mama Duck, good to see you. Sorry I didn't see you come in. It's good to see everybody here in the chat again tonight. My pop shot one out of a tree. I seen the video. So sad, but my pops was an extreme hunter. Yeah. I'd be buying snacks and throwing them at the bear. Oh, that's insane. Bears climb trees for sure. They sleep in trees sometimes. All right, so let's play this. This is a very strange case. This is such an old case. The car If you see the car, we'll see the car shortly, but they don't make them like that anymore. That's for sure.
Closure, at least to the extent that we can identify a scene of something where this case has always left questions about even, where they went, what happened to them. It's never to this day really been known for sure. So this definitely does bring that kind of a sense of there's a physical connection now to the location where whatever it was happened, and a sense too of a lot of enduring questions at this point. First of all, what the rest of the vehicle that kind of came apart from the bottom as it was lifting up, what that will involve to get the rest of that out. And then I think most importantly, what we'll find as far as what's there, and probably one of the most pressing things from the start was the question of the license plate, because the rear, as I'm sure is already known by most viewers, is that the rear plate was mostly gone. There was just a little fragment, and that fragment included a 1959 Oregon tag. So the things that's been giving investigators.
It's just, when you see stuff like this here, these cases like this here, you really got to give a shout out to law enforcement because, 58 years, that's a long freaking, right? It's just a long time. And I don't think they really know if there's any foul play in this or not. There probably is. That's why they're digging the car out. But they don't know, but they're not stopping. You know what I mean? It's not like they're giving up, just saying it's just an accident. I mean, this is 58 freaking years. It's 60 years. That's a long time to be following a case. Most of the people are probably gone. But I'm with Jenny here. I just want people to get some answers to this because this is, 58 years. It's a long, long freaking time.
And the divers are a pretty confident sense of things. And the hope was that because the front of the car was pretty well protected, that maybe the front license plate would come up and we'd know for sure with that license plate, since of course we know the numbers and the license for the car. But at this point now, that's still going to be a continuing question. And then another question, of course, is I
don't think they've even actually identified the car as being the car, but I'm pretty sure they have a good idea that that's the car that they've been looking for 58 years. But that's why they were being so careful getting that car out of the river there, because they wanted to keep it as much intact as possible.
Whether there were any remains in the car, and that part of it brings up as far as was this an accident? Was this foul play? What could we learn from those remains to understand what actually happened? And at the moment, it's not really clear what the answer to that might be, or whether that could even be answered.
And, we don't even know if remains were even recovered today because, when you think about shape of the car, well, even just the shape of a person, and I was talking about it today too, like with all of the debris and dirt.
Yeah, I seen that, this one too. I think was going to do this one later. Was this in Florida? 16-year-old found dismembered after meeting the guy on the dating app. It is 58 years. The car's under 30 feet of water and 7 feet of mud. Yeah, I mean, it's just, I'll play the video of them pulling the car out, fishing so much, spear hunt fishing. Yeah. I used to love the ocean. The ocean was my place. I used to scuba dive years ago. It's in the car. They have the number that matches the engine. Yeah, I would think, I'm pretty sure, but I don't know if they actually said. I know the other day they were saying they still don't know if that's the actual car. I'm sure it is. I'm pretty sure it is. I don't know how many cars would be in there. But St. Petersburg, Florida, looks like it was a man and his girlfriend charged with. Those sickos, absolutely. Anybody that does anything to children is just wretched pieces of shit, in my opinion.
Like, we don't know the condition. So, I mean, do you kind of have a take on that?
Well, a couple of things. One is kind of all through this process, a lot of anticipation about whether there would be bodies in the vehicle. And through my research and kind of following the archival materials that I've been following since 2013 when I got into this, there is a trail, including witness accounts, that would help explain if we didn't find any human remains there, where they may have gone. That involves the possibility that the family was separated that day. And of course, that's something that further down the line with the investigation that might come into the conversation, and it might not. Again, depends on what else is found. But that part, partly, that could answer, that could explain no bodies. And then, of course, if there are bodies, one of the things that's really important to consider is the fact that the Martins were very, very serious about everyone wearing their seatbelt. So in 1958, lots of friends and neighbors who I've talked to said that, they family in that station wagon, and until everyone had their seatbelts on, the car wouldn't move. And this was a time when, of course, a 1954 station wagon wouldn't come with seatbelts. So the family had them installed aftermarket. So
that was going to be my question, because I was like, it was such an early model of a car, seatbelts weren't really around, but you make a great point.
Sure. Yeah, and they absolutely had them installed. And so when the two youngest girls were recovered in spring of 1959, they came out of the vehicle. Now we know.
Thank you so much, Heather. Appreciate that. Cheap News, KOIN, coin. You get it? Is that Gail Cindy Loof. I hope you had a good time in Louisiana, Southern Gal. You must have. I saw you having drinks, so you must have had a good time.
From Cascade Locks, and were recovered down river in Camas and in the Bonneville Dam. And the question of whether they were wearing seatbelts was likely not, obviously, given that they came out of the vehicle. So if the other three family members, if there's any evidence of seatbelts, which might be very hard to determine, both from the amount of time that's passed, almost 70 years, and the condition of the interior of the car, would probably be, since it is full of.
Never been to Louisiana, but it's definitely on the bucket list. Did you get lots of beads? That's what I'd go for. I'd go just for the food.
Of debris, and there's lots of question now about how that might even be sort of understood and processed as a scene of, again, an accident or a crime. There might be a lot of question. It won't necessarily be possible to tell whether they were wearing seatbelts or not.
Well, I know they had a brother too, and the brother wasn't with them when they disappeared.
Correct.
And he's passed now, I believe. Correct. So
Correct. Yeah.
So I
in
mean,
early 2000s.
so there's a lot of questions even then too, because I know he was kind of disconnected from the family.
Yeah, and there's a lot of room. I mean, one of the things about this case is because there's so many unknowns about motivations, scene of a crime or accident, and all these different elements. There's been a lot of speculation about the older brother. And one thing that I found in my research is that, and I came to know his descendants and really to understand kind of his story. And I am very confident that he's not really at the heart of this story as a perpetrator of whatever may happen to them, but it does seem like he may have been.
I mean, the one thing about this case here is that it's been in the news for so long, so much information. You can't believe how much information there is on this case here. And it's another one of those things that is speculation. There's tons of speculation in this here. I believe just a few months ago, a beautiful young black girl went on a first date with a white guy, and it was a horrible outcome. Yeah, it happens all the time. Jared McCullough, he is the guy who disappeared the night of daylight savings and really blurred the timeline. The older brother didn't tell his kids what happened. I find that sus.
Caught up in if it was foul play in something that the family was sort of involved in, and that's something that the book.
I definitely think they're looking for something in that car. That's my opinion. I mean, it's thank you, Captain Obvious, but I really think that finding this car here which I don't know how they didn't find it earlier. I mean, it's I'll read a little bit more about that in a little bit, but it wasn't too far from where they last searched. I mean, it was just right there. I mean, I can understand it's probably under a huge amount of, debris, mud, silt, all of that stuff. I mean, 58 years, it's a long freaking time. But I'll be the first person to tell you that the police and law enforcement are not the greatest at finding things in the water, right? I wish there was a special, team. What was that? The people that found Kylie Rodney there. I wish there was some sort of a agency like that was really good at finding shit in water.
I go up to some water explorers.
America's Got Purpose, or whoever that was, they were really good.
And a lot of that comes out of the work of Detective Walter Graven, who worked on this case from the initial investigation all the way, pretty much didn't let it rest until he died in 1988. And Graven was following all kinds of clues and trail, and his trail sort of goes over to a different spot, which is over in the Dalles to this cliff site, which many people until now had been fairly convinced that the car had gone off. And if it went off there, it would have definitely been foul play, because there are no Christmas greens in the eastern part of the gorge. It's very dry and arid.
I mean, I myself put this at like a pretty good percentage of foul play, but it could have just been, I mean, accidents happen too. But I really think they're looking for something in that car.
But he, nevertheless, even though he may not have been right on about the location, a lot of what,
I mean, it could have been, what do they call it, infanticide or fantricide or whatever. I mean, I was just last night I was listening to that whole horrible, what was that case? What was I listening to? Where the guy killed his whole family, and then he unalived people in town. What the hell was his name? I forget now, but he just went on a unaliving rampage, and he blamed his whole family for they were out to get him. I think the count was like 13 people. He unalived 13 people. He went to his work. Just a horrible story. These things happen all the time. So it could have been a situation like that too, but to drive yourself into a river like that, I don't know if that's
what he was following could still very much be relevant to this situation that we find ourselves in now, as far as wondering about what happened at Cascade Locks.
And is there anything that you find particularly fascinating or interesting, or even like something that you're like, if you're watching this is the one thing I wish you could take?
Yeah, he's definitely a horrible human being, but the team itself, the team was really good. And they had all the equipment. They should probably do a little bit more financing for law enforcement to get those resources to get these cars. But they were right there. I mean, they were literally right there. I don't know how they didn't. I mean, obviously she was right where the phone pinged. I mean, but I mean, they do, I guess. But the other guys, Adventures with Purpose, they were awesome. The guy was just a piece of shit, but they were good at what they did. That's for sure.
Take away from this story?
Well, I guess in some ways it's the enduring legacy of just how many elements have sort of refused to give themselves even the car today, not fully coming up. I think that's just a really interesting how much that's been part of this story. I mean, we have so many elements of various people looking into it, not really able to find, lots of really intriguing clues. This gun that was found on the side of the highway in Cascade Locks, this abandoned 1951 Chevy that belonged to these ex-cons who were at this diner where the family was last seen in Hood River. A number of those kinds of.
I mean, that could be it too. It could be a situation where they tried to rob the family and then unalive the people before they got into the river and just, that's highly possible as well.
Clues and coincidences that taken together are just so perplexing. And yet, even to this day, we're still wrestling with a lot of those questions of what to make of these clues. And again, with the car only partially coming up, we're continuing to face a lot of those kinds of enduring questions without necessarily a clear sense of an answer.
All right, so let's go here to this one here. Actually, I can just stay here and do this because it's the same. No, that's not the same. Hold on a second here. Okay, so this is just such a sad case. This is all right, so this is done. This one was done 2 days ago. So this is new information about 1958 cold case of the missing Portland family, and this will shine a little light into the whole case, pretty much here.
Emily Burris.
And I'm Travis Tyke, the
Oops,
Hood River County Sheriff's.
Let me back this up a little bit. They had the thing on live TV yesterday. I was actually going to go live while they were doing it, but I think I fell back to sleep.
As divers are preparing to go into the Columbia River in search of a car missing for more than 60 years, a car that could hold clues to the question of what happened to this family, the Martin family. Good morning. It is Thursday, March 6th. I'm Emily Burris.
And I'm Travis Tyke. The Hood River County Sheriff's Office recently received a tip that the car belonging to the Martin family, who went missing in December of 1958, has been found. And KOIN 6 anchor Jeff Gianola live at Cascade Locks. Jeff, you have been tracking this case for decades.
This guy here has been on this case forever. All right, so I'm just going to kind of read a little bit of this because this is like I said, there's a lot of information on this case here. But, you know, I've always been told only believe about 70%, 60 to 70% on what you read. So on December 9th, Kenneth failed to report. The father failed to report to his job at Eccles Electric Home Service Company, while Barbie was noted absent from her morning class at Grant High School. Both Susan and Virginia were reported absent by their teachers at Rose City School. The family was officially reported missing that evening by Kenneth's boss Taylor Eccles. Police investigated their residence at approximately 11 p.m. Don't forget, this is all the way back in 1958, so there is absolutely no communication whatsoever. All you basically got is a dial phone, and maybe not even that. Searching for any signs of foul play. The house had been left undisturbed. Dishes from the previous day were left on a drying rack in the kitchen. There was also a substantial amount of money in the Martins' bank accounts. That's interesting. Searches were undertaken by both, I'm not even going to pronounce that, Hood River County Police, but neither were able to produce substantial leads. A stolen white Chevrolet registered in Venice, Los Angeles, California, was found in Cascade Locks the day of the Martins' disappearance, but was quickly dismissed by police as it did not match their vehicle. Also found near the site of the abandoned Chevrolet was a .38 Colt Commander handgun, which had been disposed of in the bushes and was covered in dried blood. So I'm wondering if they've probably got some sort of DNA off of this by now. The handgun was turned over to law enforcement, but never processed for evidence. The gun serial number was traced to a Meyer and Frank department store. It was discovered that the gun had been among several sporting items that the Martins' son, Donald, had been accused of stealing while working at Meyer and Frank's 2 years prior. So, all right, so let's go back to this here.
Decades now. This is a cold case that has haunted the Oregon area since 1958. Tell us about this disappearance of the Martin family and what is happening here this morning.
Travis and Emily, KOIN 6 exclusively breaking this news this morning, the first news outlet to break this news. But on December 7th, 1958, the Martin family, 5 members of that family, the parents.
Yeah, I'm going to try to go cover a little bit of that to the Gene Hackman case because they pretty much determined the cause of the death there. But this is a pretty big river. This is not like the river we just saw. This is beautiful country up here for sure.
Parents and 3 daughters.
This is a lot more north than where we were earlier.
Left their home in Northeast Portland for a Sunday drive up the gorge. They were never heard from or seen from again. Now a local diver has found a submerged car.
So like I said, this was done 2 days ago.
That matches the vehicle description of the Martin's car. So much so that the Hood River Sheriff has now cordoned off this area at Cascade Locks, where I'm reporting from, as a crime scene. We're expecting a barge with a crane to arrive within the next hour and a half, and then the search and recovery effort is going to begin. They say they're about 99% sure this is a car, but you never know until you bring the car up. Let me show you a map of where I'm reporting from. There's an incident command center, and that's where investigators are arriving right now. They're just now starting their briefing. And then you see the area where the car is submerged, where the barge is going to be in that recovery effort. And then I'm reporting.
Okay, so this is what I was watching the other day. They put the media way over here, which is good. Get them out of the way. This is where the crane was. I mean, this is a huge. This is a massive place here. This is where the incident happened, basically. So they probably secured this off here, and this is the search area right here. I'm going to play the actual video of them pulling the car out. So
from the media staging area. And since we're the first ones to break this story, I'm the only one reporting from here tonight, but I'm sure in the next few hours, this is going to get very, very.
Like I said, the weather up there hasn't been cooperating with them either the last couple of days, but they got it out of there. Some of it anyways.
Very crowded. Let's talk about the Martin family. Here's a snapshot of the family from the mid 1950s. The 3 daughters, Virginia, who was.
Okay, so let's go back to this. Well, so this is Dad. This is Kenneth. This is the mom, obviously, and I think it goes oldest to the youngest here, and then this is the son that everybody kind of blames here. He's obviously a lot older than the other 3. But this whole dynamic is a little, I don't know, a little strange here. But who knows? I mean, anything's possible. Like I said, I think they've been looking for this car for a very, very long time.
Virginia, who was 13 years old. Barbara, who was 14.
It's a good-looking family, beautiful family.
And Sue, who was 11. And then Ken Martin, the dad, 54 years old. Barbara Martin, the wife, 48 years old. And then that young gentleman in his 20s, that's Donald Martin, the oldest Martin. He was estranged from the family. He was living back east. He was in the Navy at the time of the disappearance.
So this guy here is who they're talking about now. He was in the Navy. Who was talking to Davy. But this is, I don't know if this guy here, I think he's dead, right? The son is dead, I think.
So that's the real tragedy here, this lost family. And then let's take a look at the car the Martins were driving. It was a 1954 Ford station wagon, tan with red trim.
Look at this car, right? Remember this car, right? Because you'll see shortly when I play the video of them extracting the car. They basically only got, I think, a quarter of this car out so far. I mean, this is a heavy-ass car. Back then, they really made heavy steel, heavy cars. This car probably weighed 3 tons.
Around the windows with Oregon license plate 1G7156. Now, according to investigators, what they've told me, they did kind of match a partial plate from the diver. There's some other evidence that they have that they're firmly convinced this could be the car. But once again, they say we won't know till we bring it up. 5 months after the Martins went missing, the body of 2 of the girls were found downriver, Sue and Virginia. So if that car is brought up, there's a possibility.
I wonder if they were thrown from the car.
There could be the remains of possibly 3 Martin family members inside, and that would be a very somber moment. There would be some reverence here at the investigation site, and
Do you think those bodies would still be intact? I have a hard time believing those bodies would still be intact. Especially with, I don't know what they got in here for fish or, I don't know. That sounds a little strange to me, but it's possible, I guess.
they're looking for evidence because there's 2 theories. Was this an accident that they parked here at Cascade Locks? The sheriff at the time saw some tire tracks that went directly in the water. He said it's possible
Awesome reporter. Okay.
Martin accidentally backed into the locks, but a Multnomah County
I think that they can tell. I think they can tell by the skid patterns and stuff like that whether the car was actually driving at I don't know, a higher speed or not. But I'm pretty sure they've had tons of accident. What's the word I'm looking for? Accident reconstruction stuff out there. Bones too. You think there'd still be bones in that car? Partially decomposed. So 5 months later, the girls were partially decomposed. So I'm wondering if the girls might have been thrown from the car. Those cars were notorious for that. The windows. I mean, if you look at this car, where is it? Right here. I'll try to pull it up. What is it? A 19. I mean, those are big windows. Windows might have been open on a warm day. So these are the old beach wagons. You could fit 40 people in here.
But right now, over my right shoulder, if you can see, that's the command center being set up right now. There's some trailers, there's some trucks. And in the last hour, we've seen investigators arriving. This investigation really won't start kicking off into high gear until that barge arrives with the crane. But imagine a family that went missing 66 years ago, and now the possibility of a key piece of evidence, the actual car, could be recovered. Emily and Travis, as you mentioned, I've covered this story now for almost 30 years, including a mini documentary, a Coin 6 podcast, and now you wonder, will this evidence, if they do bring it up, will it lead to some sort of answer or answers, whether this was an accident, whether there was foul play? So that's why this area is being treated as a crime scene with a possibility they may find evidence. So that's the latest right now. Things are really going to start getting busy around here in the next few hours. I'll be reporting throughout the day and into the evening, but for right now, I'll send it back to you in the Coin 6 studios.
Yeah, thanks, Jeff. We're glad that you were able to get up early with us and be out there all day because you do know this case inside and out. And what an astonishing turn of events if this car ends up unlocking some of the mysteries of this case.
Unbelievable. And
It's just so weird. The day before the girls were found, a dredge was in the river and an anchor hit what they think was the car. Next day, one girl found. Day after, next girl.
if you have not listened to that podcast that Jeff did, this is a few years ago now, I could not recommend it more. It is enthralling. It is captivating. This story is unbelievable. And again, you can listen to that. You can also read more coverage
Okay,
of
so
the
let's switch to this one here. Right here.
Breaking news.
So this one was done yesterday. Station wagon presumed to be connected to the Mountain family is set to be pulled out on Friday afternoon, more than 65 years after their sudden disappearance in 1950. So it's actually 65 years. Yeah.
News alert.
And that breaking news, decades in the making. A car believed to belong to the Martin family pulled up from the Columbia River just moments ago. The Martin family missing since 1958, one of Oregon's greatest mysteries.
Just incredible to watch.
I mean, you can't even recognize the
unfold
car.
because
I
you-
had a hard time recognizing the
You've been
car
following this with us.
when they were pulling the car out. Yes, of course, I was half asleep.
This big effort for a day and a half now live on the air. So let's bring in Jeff Gianola, who is at the command center once again right now. In fact, Jeff has special access connected to his years of intense coverage on this case. Jeff, tell us more.
Well, I'm witnessing something pretty incredible. They are just now loading the Martin car onto a flatbed truck. What's left of the presumed to be the Martin car onto a flatbed truck that has a blue tarp stretched out on the back bed to preserve any kind of evidence. And then just moments ago, I want to show you this video. Moments ago, the car was pulled out from the bottom of Cascade Locks, and this was a very slow process. They didn't want anything to fall apart.
So I'm assuming there's the tires there. So the car was actually upside down in the water. And that's telling me it probably rolled or something.
Part on the car, and they wanted to preserve all evidence if they could, and then it submerged. And this was our first look at the car, and you can see.
So there's the tires there. Hold on, let me get a better image of that. So there's the tires right there. And this is the tires facing up towards us, right? So this is the undercarriage of the car here. I'm assuming that's it. They had to pull it up.
Look at the car.
Pretty much upside down.
You can see most of the body of the car was missing. The main structure of the car, the undercarriage, some of the engine compartment, the axles with all four tires, they're intact. And here's where we need to be respectful. We don't know if there are fragments of human bones in this car. And so I'm trying to be very respectful. I'm about 50 yards away from where they're now loading the car. There's what's left of the car, the remains of the car, strapping it on to the flatbed truck. And this is sort of a very solemn moment. I think all the investigators who've been involved with this are kind of quietly taking pictures, looking.
Yeah, it's strange how they pulled this car up, but they were here for a day, at least a day or two, trying to figure out how to get this car out of there because, it's basically buried in mud and everything. I have the actual video of them pulling it out because they did it live. It was a live thing. And like I said, I was going to go live while they did it, but I just fell back asleep, so that wasn't going to happen because I think they did it like 3 or 4 in the afternoon. Look at this crane. This crane is absolutely freaking huge. So it was it was not easy.
They're being very respectful of what's going on. Once again, you don't know what kind of evidence is in this car, so they're treating this very respectfully, very professionally, and they're just in the process of strapping the car down onto the flatbed truck. This has been quite an ordeal. The barge arrived here yesterday, the crane with the crane on it, around 12:30. There was an attempt yesterday to pull the car up, but it was just stuck in the debris and the mud. Morning, divers with the salvage company out of Portland, associated with the crane, they were working feverishly to clear the mud and debris and the rocks, things that were sucking the car down like a vacuum onto the floor of the locks. And they felt they had cleared enough of it away. Why this afternoon, they started the effort to pull the car up, the remains of the car. This is such an important clue, such an important piece of evidence in the disappearance of the Martin family. Let's take a look, and remember that this is a tragedy. Let's take a look at a snapshot of the Martin family if we can. There was Ken Martin, the father, Barbara Martin, the mother, they're sitting on their living room couch here, the three daughters, Barbie, named after mom Barbara, Virginia, and Sue. And then the older son, Don Martin. Don was in his 20s in the Navy, living in New York when the family disappeared. Don later went on to marry, moved to Hawaii, had a family. And I've corresponded with Don's children over the years of my covering this. And the sad tragedy is here, they knew nothing about their grandparents or their aunts. Their father didn't talk about it, and maybe it was too painful for them.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they said that the car was upside down in the water. And that's why they had a hard time getting the car out of the water because like I said, those cars, hold on a second, let me I mean, it's a freaking heavy car. We'll never see a car that weighs like that much again, ever. I mean, those cars, hold on a second. Let me see if I can stop sharing this for a second. This is going to be a different color car. But I mean, this car weighs a ton. You could fit 50 people in here easy. Years ago in the 70s, we had the beach wagons. Remember the beach wagons? Everybody would get in the car and go to the beach. That's why they call them beach wagons. But this car, if you car these days with one of these cars, you would literally have like a tin can from the other car. These cars, they don't build them like this anymore. That's for sure. This is all solid steel here. This is this is probably a straight 8 in here. These cars here are just not around anymore, that's for sure. All right, let's go back to this here. So that car, I'm pretty sure the car was in there pretty good. So it's, I don't know if I can it's upside down. Yesterday, the divers got mud wave down to the small chrome nameplate and front tire. You hate El Caminos like no other car.
And when I was doing my investigations into this story, dating back years ago, it was the first they heard about what happened to their grandparents and their aunts.
Yeah, I don't know. That's why I'm trying to find a video I had of them pulling the car up. But I was told I heard that they got like maybe 2/4 of the car out. Jenny seems to know a lot about this, so I'm assuming that there's parts of the car that are still down there. I don't know if they've floated them up somehow or they're trying to work on that, but I think the evidence that they're looking for is in the part that they got. Look up missing in Hunt City, Texas. Give me a minute, I'll look it up. She was on the way to her son's birthday party with a bike in the car, and the bike was still in the car. Let me look it back. Okay, Gail. Gail's amazing.
And my heart really went out to them about that. You think about the coverage we've had on the story over the years, and I would be remiss if I didn't mention the great Ann Sullivan, who was a reporter for the Oregonian for more than 52 years. And she covered this from day one and constantly kept readers updated throughout Oregon on
This is what I was watching yesterday, but this was actually live. They had this live feed. And I think this boat here is to kind of tether the crane here. But I'm assuming that this is how they got down here from down. I don't know if they came down this way here or I don't know. It'd be interesting to see the reconstruction here of how they got down into the water here. But I'm pretty sure they came down this here.
What was going on. And she did some pioneering work in the mystery of the Martin family. And I do want to salute Ann Sullivan. She's no longer with us, but I wonder what Ann would think to stay. They're starting to cover up the.
Okay, so let me do this here. Hold on a second. I'll go with you guys to here. Yes, the top half is still buried under mud. Hold on a second here. Whoops. Okay, so the recovery of Susan and Virginia. So those are the two that were found later. On May 1st, 1959, 3 months after the tire tracks were reported, a river drilling rig near the Dallas reportedly hooked something and substantial weight to its anchor. It became dislodged before it could be pulled up to the surface. In the early morning hours of May 2nd, a fisherman and his wife reported seeing what appeared to be two bodies floating downstream near the Cascade Locks. They later accounted the bodies of near Bonneville Dam. So Bonneville Dam, I'll go to that later. Reported seeing in the afternoon of May 3rd, the body of Susan was recovered on the north bank of the Columbia River near Camas, Washington, roughly 70 miles west of the Dales. Am I saying that right? Her identity was positively confirmed by dental records. The next morning, the body of Virginia was discovered near Bonneville Dam, roughly 46 miles west of the Dales, also confirmed via dental records. So I'd have to do math on this right now. So roughly 70 miles west of the Dales, 36 miles west of the Dales. So that's about 20 miles away from each other. Susan's body was taken to Clark County Medical Examiner's office before being transferred to Multnomah County in Portland for autopsies. One of the technicians who had taken fingerprints prior to the autopsies indicated to the medical examiner what they believed to be bullet holes. So there you go. In the heads of each of the girls' bodies. In the medical examiner's report, no such injuries were found. And the cause, this is bizarre. Hold on a second. One of the technicians who had taken fingerprints prior to the autopsy indicated to the medical examiner what they believed to be bullet holes in the head of each of the girls' bodies. The medical examiner's report, no such injuries were found, and the cause of death for both girls was declared as drowning. Traces of metal, including aluminum, were recovered from Susan's clothing. The spot on the riverbank where the drill rig encountered a submerged object and where the car is suspected to have gone to the river was directly opposite of the aluminum smelting plant. This is weird here, huh? One of the technicians who had taken fingerprints, that's weird. So we don't know. I'm assuming they're going by this here, that the girl's cause of death was declared as drowning. Police theorize that the Martins may have died as a result of Kenneth crashing their car in the Columbia River. Another theory held that the family had been abducted and forced off a cliffside into the river. Why? In 1961, a resident of Camas wrote a letter to the Oregon Journal stating that they were parked with a companion in Cascade Locks on December 7, 1958, and had witnessed a vehicle proceeding underneath the railroad tracks towards the locks. Moments later, they heard screaming, but upon investigation, found nothing. December 1966, Donald, the only surviving member of the family, inherited the family's modest estate, which had been in mandate probate for 7 years. He moved to Hawaii, became a teacher, at James Campbell High School. Donald died in 2004 at the age of 73, leaving children behind. All right, so let's go back to this here. This case is bizarre. Why would one person see one thing and the other person not see anything else at all? That's unless the person was just lunacy. I don't know. That's bizarre. All right, hold on a second. Have you ever heard of that before? I've never heard of that before. I've never heard of two different. That's weird.
The remains of the car, the wreckage of the car with the blue tarp. Once again, I can't stress enough that we just don't know what kind of evidence is in the car. You may look at this and say, there's not much there, but I can see from my vantage point, there's a back seat that's, tattered and torn, but what's it?
That doesn't make any sense to me. Why would somebody taking fingerprints see what it looks like to be bullet holes? I mean, maybe he was just not experienced enough to know that looked like to be, and then the medical examiner kind of overruled him. I don't know. It's just weird. In 1946, the St. Police lost the body and all of her clothes. That's great. I'll have to look into this, Dale.
In that seat, they're going to go there. Are there maybe some fragments of human bone? Are there possibly other kind of evidence? There were two theories into the disappearance of the Martin family. The very first theory, days after they disappeared, the Hood River Sheriff saw tracks in the gravel. This was not a paved lot then. It was a gravel lot. It was easy to back your car up.
So I'm assuming he's meaning that they came down this way. So from the north of this image here, this bank here, down this way here, right?
Into the locks accidentally, and he felt that the Ken Martin may have accidentally backed into the locks. The Multnomah County Detective Walter Graven, he investigated the case, and when they didn't find the car here at Cascade,
Maybe vehicle malfunction, maybe brake issues.
Locks initially, he came up with some theories. There was some pretty strong circumstantial evidence that this could lead, that Martins were victims of foul play. He felt very strongly about that. This case haunted him for the rest of his career. And he always said,
I can't stress enough how old this case is. 1958, right? That's beyond, computer, phone, any type of, real, what we think of today as forensic evidence. No, so they had to do everything by, gut fingerprinting. But you would have thought by now they would have been able to retest things if any of the evidence would have been kept. Especially if they got, I know that in here it says something about a gun that was in the bushes, but I think that they kind of ruled that out. I think, not sure. Had some forensics to kind of go with some sort of a better theory or what happened, what caused this or whatever, to have some sort of a theory behind this whole incident here. Maybe that's why they wanted to find this car.
His last entry in his detective book will be solved when they find the vehicle with the bodies inside. Well, I can tell you from my vantage point, I'm not seeing any full skeletal remains or anything like that, but we just don't know what kind of fragments could be in what's left of this car. And we need to be very, very respectful of that.
Yeah, I think by pulling the car out, they can probably, once they get it cleaned off, and it's kind of like an architectural dig at this point. You're trying to look for evidence of maybe faulty brake systems or dents in the car from backing something over, or slide pattern or falling on the tires and braking or something like that, or what gear was the car in, stuff like that. That way they can piece together some sort of an idea of what happened here. I'm just wondering if those two girls were thrown from the car, especially if it kind of flipped over like that. And if the windows were open or busted, or who knows. I know back then seatbelts, you didn't have ours. I don't think you had over the shoulder seatbelts. I don't even think you had the waist seatbelt. How old were the girls? Were they in car seats still, you think? I don't know. Hey, Charlotte, how are you? Good to see you. I mean, those are all the things that I look at,
It's kind of a very somber scene down here, very quiet. Everything's quiet. The crane has stopped working, and you just think you would never, see this day in a mystery that's more than 6.
Charlotte is absolutely amazing. Charlotte is here. It's always good to have Charlotte in the house. We're catching you on the time here. We're actually moving our clocks ahead an hour. That's let me see if I can Google that while we're watching this. We're just going over this Martin family cold case from 1958, Charlotte, and they pulled the car out. They found the car. A diver actually found the car. I forget the guy's name. I should look it up. But they pulled the car out yesterday that they've been looking for 58 years, and we're trying to figure out what's going on.
66 years old. The mystery of the Martin family. They're pretty convinced this is the car. And let me tell you, local diver Archer Mayo is the one who discovered this car, and it was buried under tons of debris. And he spent a long time uncovering. This is his underwater video that he took, and you can see the amount of debris on this car. He was able, during one of his dives, to get a partial plate. And back in the 50s, Multnomah County, you had your own.
So it says here, while seatbelts were available as optional equipment in some 1950s cars, they weren't standard until the mid-1960s. Some automakers started offering seatbelts as an option, allowing owners to purchase and install them. So they had to be installed. Seatbelts were not standard equipment in American cars until the mid-1960s. Volvo was the first company to include seatbelt systems in their vehicles in 1955. Ford's Lifeguard Companion. Ford made safety a central feature of its 1956 models with the Lifeguard campaign, offering seatbelts as a $9 option. California became the first state to require all new cars to come equipped with lap belts. Despite the availability, it's estimated that only a small percentage of American drivers use seatbelts. In 1959, Nils Bohlin, an engineer at Volvo, invented the 3-point seatbelt, which is now the standard in most vehicles. So there you go. No answer. But I'm pretty sure it's possible.
Metal registration tags, and he had a picture of that he took, and that's how they were able to identify this, or pretty certainly that this was the Martin car. Now, Archer also said he felt this car was pretty intact, but remember, this car is upside down in the water. That's the way it came up, and that's what Archer saw when he was down.
and 11. So did they win? And really getting pissed. Two younger girls were 7 and 11. Did they have any type of? I'm pretty sure they didn't have any of that. What they have now, where you have to be in a car seat for a certain amount of weight. I hope you're doing well. No more lumps and bumps. Yeah, me too. It's always good to see Charlotte in here. Yeah, the cream paint's still here. Cream colored paint. That's lead. I'm pretty sure. I wonder if that's lead paint.
Down there. So the undercarriage of the car is pretty intact when you look at it. The axles are there. The wheels are there. The hubcaps are on.
There's the tire right there. So
it's the rest of the car. Most of the rest of the car is missing. The side, the doors, the thing, those are missing. And we have no idea. Are they still underwater? Is there going to be an effort to retrieve those? I don't know. Will they go down and try to dredge and maybe see if they can find any evidence? I don't know. If the divers are here, that's a question I'll have for the sheriff.
I mean, without knowing any more information about this car here, it would seem to me like this car maybe rolled into this, or without knowing the actual depth here. I mean, this car is freaking buried in here.
I know the sheriff, Matt, is going to, Hood River Sheriff is going to have a briefing, I think, once this scene wraps up here. But this is a pretty historic afternoon here.
They always say no news is good news, right? Yeah, it does. It's just sad. That's what I'm saying. This is such an old case. I understand that, but it just sucks that this had to happen. And 58 years now into it, and they're just finding the car now. It just, but at least nobody's given up. But look at this crane. I mean, this crane is, they basically pulled Kylie Rodney's case out with a tow truck. This is a huge crane here.
Because this Martin family mystery was probably one of the both baffling mysteries in Oregon history. And at the time, Martin's.
I mean, I know that was a reservoir and not a river, but still, they wanted to be extra careful with this car because this here.
Disappeared in 1958. This was the largest manhunt in Oregon history ever attempted. And what happened was the days turned into weeks, the weeks turned into months. There were theories and conjecture, but never any hard evidence. The bodies of.
I mean, it's sad. It's very sad. It's just those poor kids. It's just awful. And anytime I feel bad for everybody, but anytime it deals with little kids and stuff like that, it's just extra hell.
Two of the Martin girls, Virginia and Sue, wash up downriver 5 months after the Martins disappear. And they thought, well, maybe, that'll lead to some answers. It really never did. It just added to the mystery. And pretty soon the months turned into years that turned into decades. And I think almost everyone thought we'll never know. The Columbia River will keep that mystery forever. Well, it looks like the Columbia River gave up part of that mystery. And will this mystery, will any evidence that they're able to discern from this wreckage of the car?
I can almost guarantee you that there's probably thousands and thousands of pages of reports. And I mean, the file on this case is probably going to be libraries long here. 48 years. I'm surprised there's any car left. I agree with that. 58 years. Any updates on the Jean case? Yeah, I'm going to go over that shortly here. This is almost done, and we'll move on to the 7-year-old.
Will that lead to answers? And that's That's what we don't know, and we may not know that for
Okay, so I'll keep an eye on this, but I just wanted to go over this case here. I've been following this case at least for the last 3 or 4 days, and it's horrible. It's just part of the history you don't want to know. I remember adventures were purpose founded in like 2050, but the country didn't have any money. Oh, really? I didn't know that. All right, so what am I doing now? I want to go here. Give me 2 seconds while I'll load the other one. I want to go over the 7-year-old case here, because this is another one of those bizarre cases. We did the 2-year-old already, right? I hope FARQ is all right. They had a hurricane over there in Australia, Brisbane. Let me play this one here. I also want to play that. There's so many cases right now. Just hold on a second here. A second. Okay. Right here. Okay. So this is the case of we'll play the press conference first, and then I do want to give an update on the Jody Huisentruit case too. But this is the hold on a second. You share this here. This is the case of the missing 7-year-old. Oh, you're welcome, Jenny. It's always good to see you, Charlotte. All right, so this is the Atlanta boy here that went missing since 2017. They found him. He was basically kidnapped. The boy, now 14, was located last month after deputies responded to a possible burglary at a vacant Highlands Ranch home. So this is the press conference. This was done 3 days ago. And I'll play a little bit of the press conference, and then we'll move on to another case. But I want to play a couple of these because this is just good news, bad news, kind of.
Marshal Kirk Taylor is here to talk about their work over the past 7 years, never giving hope of finding this boy. Douglas County Under Sheriff Dave Walcher will read a statement from the National for Missing and Children and explain their role in this discovery. And Douglas County Commissioner Abe Layden will discuss the board's support for our deputies. Also joining us today is DA George Brocker, Chief Mike McIntosh, Captain Jason Kennedy, Captain Dan McMillan, and Sergeant Jeffrey Burke. We're going to begin with Sheriff Weekly.
I hope Miss Barbara's okay. I haven't seen her around for a while. Hope she's all right. I always think of people when I don't see them in the chat. I hope Jocelyn's well. I hope Honeybee's well. It's always good to see everybody, though. You guys are all amazing.
Thank you. Thank you all for being here. Good morning. Today, I am proud to share a remarkable story. Thanks to the quick response of our deputies and their attention to details, a 14-year-old boy has been safely recovered after being missing for 7 long years. It was a quick thinking of a vigilant member of our community, a homeowner monitoring their security cameras for a house that he had for sale, and he noticed some suspicious activity and immediately called the sheriff's office to report a possible burglary or trespass in progress. This call not only led to the apprehension of 2 suspects, but unknown to everyone at the time, to the discovery of a.
I'll just read this a little bit. I found some. So Atlanta child missing for 7 years found safe in Colorado. Police found boy now 14 after responding to a burglary call and arresting the mother. So a boy who was allegedly taken by his mother, who didn't have custody of him 7 years ago, from Atlanta, was found last month in Colorado after the mother was arrested. Rabia Khalid, 40, was arrested on February 23rd after sheriff's deputies were asked to investigate a special burglary taking place at a vacant home that was for sale. So the mom took him. Let me play this.
Missing child and the resolution to his 7-year-old mystery. When our deputies arrived on scene to what they initially appeared to be a routine trespass call, they quickly made contact with 2 children who were in a vehicle in a driveway. 2 individuals exited the home, and as the deputies began to investigate, they began to
I gotta send Gail some meds, some good meds that work. Your clock didn't change. My clock doesn't change either.
uncover inconsistencies in the suspect's story, and their work led them to a shocking discovery. One of the suspects, Rabia Khalid, was actually a fugitive wanted for kidnapping. Our deputies didn't stop there. They worked tirelessly to verify the identities of everyone involved, leading to the realization that 14-year-old Abdul Aziz Khan had been abducted by his non-custodial mother, Rabia Khalid, back in 2017. Elliot Bourgeois, who was with Khalid, was also arrested and being held on charges of kidnapping, as well as a litany of other charges. This victim's family has asked for privacy. I had the privilege of meeting with the family in my office yesterday, and what I will tell you is there wasn't a dry eye in the room. They are extremely grateful for our deputies in the Douglas County Sheriff's Office for their ability to identify what was going on to bring Aziz home. This family has a long road ahead of them, but our team is there for them. We will walk with them step by step as they navigate this journey. We hope they find healing and hope in the days, weeks, months, and even years ahead of them. I also want to acknowledge the effort of the U.S. Marshals Service, the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children, the Kenner Police Department in Louisiana, and everyone that has worked alongside us to bring the case to this point in the investigation. This is a true example of how law enforcement agencies at all levels can come together to make a difference in the lives of the families that we serve. I'd also like to thank Netflix and Unsolved Mysteries and Crime Stoppers for helping bring national attention to Aziz's case, making it possible for more eyes to be on the lookout for him. While we've made significant progress in this case, this is still an ongoing investigation. We are continuing to gather information to fully resolve this case and ensure that those responsible are held accountable. This reminds us all of why we do this work. It's my privilege as the sheriff to lead such an amazing group of people, our deputies and our dispatchers. They did just an amazing job to solve this case. I often wonder how many law enforcement contacts did this family have, did these people have before our deputies were able to dig in and identify exactly what was going on. Today, thanks to their work, a child is now safe and a family can now begin to heal. And with that, I'd like to turn over to U.S. Marshal for the District of Colorado, Kirk Taylor.
Thank you, Sheriff. Thank you, Sheriff, and good morning. Thank you for having us here today.
Yeah, it's been a crazy winter. People are dropping like flies. There's so many things going on out there. I just hope people stay safe. That's all. The worst was my mom passing. Yeah, that sucks, Gail. That's horrible. Ugh, you poor thing. Oof.
On behalf of the United States Marshal Service and Senior Inspector Brian Fair, who was the Eastern Louisiana Deputy Marshal who caught this case over 5 years ago, the Marshals picked this case up in 2020 and started trying to track down the young lady and the kidnapped child
You know what? I can't believe it took them that long to find the mother. That's so weird.
He is part of the district sex offender investigation coordinator for Eastern Louisiana Marshal's office. I spoke with Marshal Enix Smith. They were over the moon happy about this arrest. And as a former sheriff, I can tell you, you as a community and Sheriff Weekly have a right to be extremely proud of this team that dug and dug and dug until they were able to find out the identities and bring this case to a close. It's just amazing. The marshals really didn't do anything on this case in particular. Senior Inspector Brian Fair did go to 11 different states looking for this young lady and the child. And it had really gone cold. We entered it in NCMEC. We'd entered it in everything we could to try to keep shaking the tree and rattling the bushes to see if we could get it to fall out. And just great police work on behalf of the Douglas County Sheriff's Office. And I just can't, I sincerely thank you on behalf of the United States Marshal Service and Eastern Louisiana Marshal. And Brian Fair was over the moon when he got the call. So thank you so much. With that, I'm going to turn it over to Under Sheriff Dave Walter.
Thank you, Marshal Taylor. So the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children, I want to spend just a moment talking about them, but they are a nonprofit corporation whose mission is to help find missing children, reduce sexual exploitation, and prevent child victimization.
You ain't kidding. Stay single. Stay single for sure.
This is the great example right here. This is why we do what we do, and this is why what NCMEC does to make things like this happen. And I do want to read a quote by John Bischoff. He's a vice president of missing children for NCMEC, and he provided this quote. He couldn't be here today, but I certainly want to let you know their thoughts. So the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children has worked closely with law enforcement and Aziz's family since his disappearance. Always believed he could be found in family abduction cases, and it can be difficult to garner public attention, but we knew that national media coverage was crucial. Aziz could have been anywhere. Thanks to the deputy's keen instincts and the attention of both law enforcement and the public, Aziz is now safe. We know family reunifications can be challenging, and as Aziz and his family reconnect and heal, NCMEC will continue to support them. I just have to stress, this is about partnerships right here. It's partnership with our federal government, the United States Marshal in this case, partnering with NCMEC to bring this to closure. And it's just a remarkable story. There's a lot of work to do, but it doesn't happen with.
Yeah, this winter here, I mean, it hasn't been, I would consider this winter as far as weather and stuff like that to be kind of average. But it's just been really like pesky. This winter here has been a lot of shit going around. It's just been weird, a weird winter. I'm always happy to see winter go. Give me the hot baking sun. I'll take it. Winter, in my opinion,
without good partners out there. So I certainly appreciate the work by all involved. So I would like to introduce Douglas County Commissioner Abe Layden at this time.
All right, so let's play this one here. I do want to move along to some other stuff, but this is good news, right? Let's do this one here. This was done 3 days ago.
Overwhelmed with joy. That is how a father feels tonight after his son is found alive. For 7 years, Aziz Khan was in hiding after his mom and her new husband allegedly kidnapped him in Atlanta. He was just 7 years old.
Now he'll be reunited with his dad as a teenager, all thanks to a homeowner in Douglas County. Your reporter Gabriela Vidal joins us live tonight and explains how that man's quick thinking.
There's so much that these people have to go through in the next few years. I mean, how old is he now? 7 years. It's a lot of missed time.
Is bringing a dad and his son back together.
Yeah, Michael and Kelly, it's a crazy story, a crazy coincidence that this man, originally concerned that his home was being burglarized, a home that he was trying to sell in Highlands Ranch, ended up unraveling a 7-year-old case, an abduction case that had quickly made national headlines over the years. A split-second decision.
Normally, I'll just scroll through. I'll just ignore it. I won't look at it.
to peek at home surveillance video.
My house has been up for sale for a couple weeks now. And so there's showings and people coming and going every day.
Is all it took for Kyle Crone to help unearth 7 years of unanswered questions in the 2017 disappearance of a 70-year-old boy.
That was shocking. Like, we're going to go watch the Netflix documentary tonight.
It was in the afternoon on February 23rd when Crone peeked at camera footage from his home for sale on Kellywood Way in Highlands Ranch.
I notice, a male and a female kind of coming up to the house. And usually, like, couples will have a realtor. And I didn't see a realtor.
The pair parked in the driveway. The woman walks up to the front door, while the man appears to walk onto the backyard and through the back door.
I called the police right away. The second he goes in, the police are already showing up. I mean, they had to be there in, 2 minutes.
When Douglas County Sheriff's deputies arrived to confront the couple, they also discovered 2 children sitting inside the parked car.
And that's when it started to kind of unravel.
The sheriff's office identified the couple as 40-year-old Rabia Khalid and 42-year-old Elliot Bourgeois. One of the children in the car identified as 14-year-old Abdul Aziz Khan, who was allegedly kidnapped by Rabia.
Can you imagine that? Can you imagine just like a freak encounter, right? Where is Miranda Lee tonight? I hope she's well. That's who we're missing. I hope she's okay. I hope Miranda Lee's okay. Is Miranda here? I haven't seen Miranda. If she's here, hi, Miranda.
In 2017, around the same time she was about to lose custody to Aziz's father.
Having 3 boys, I can't even imagine the pain of that, even the thought of that. I'm happy that the outcome was a good one.
A statement from the boys' family shared by the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children states, quote, "We're overwhelmed with joy that Aziz has finally been found. We want to thank everyone."
She's taking a break from the crazy world of social media. Everybody has to take a break once in a while, including myself. Yeah, it's amazing they got this kid back for sure. Amazing he's alive. It's not that nice of a story for most kids that go missing, unfortunately. But this one of those ones that there's a happy ending here. A lot of we'll see what happens. I'm gonna have to keep my eyes on this here.
For their support over the last 7 years. For Crone, this stunning discovery is a reminder that the smallest choices, even as little as looking at a surveillance camera on his phone, can have a big impact.
It's good to pay attention and to be observant.
Look at this. They're casing this joint. They're literally casing this
Big impact.
It's good to pay attention and to be observant. Some things that seem like nothing.
No one's gonna ever, no one's gonna really think too much. People just showing up to a rental place. This, your typical heist here, right? Nobody's going to question anybody here. This place is for sale. Most people are going to think these people are just looking at the place. It's all of that.
Surveillance camera on his phone can have a big impact.
It's good to pay attention and to be observant. Some things that seem like nothing, I think.
Have a good night, buddy. See you later. Good day. Always good day. Dino here. Paul's going to bed too. Have a good night, Paul. Always love to have you here. Thank you so much for all your help, all your support, all you guys. I'll probably get out of here too. I didn't know it was going to be this late. But I do want to play a couple more things and then we'll get out of here.
Moving forward, I'm going to pay a little more attention everywhere I go.
And Crone tells me after speaking with his realtor about the couple involved in this incident, he learned that the man in this incident had actually been using a fake alias to communicate with other realtors, including his own. Right now, both suspects facing multiple charges in this case, including kidnapping and ID theft. In Highlands Ranch, Gabriella.
Kidnapping and ID theft, right? 7 years of lost time. Kidnapping and ID theft. Okay. All right. So I do want to play this here. We've covered this case numerous times here. This is the Josie Huntrud case here. There's a big battle going on between the family and law enforcement on this case here. They want some of this stuff unsealed because they've been blaming this guy for forever, and he passed away not too long ago. And it's basically all about him. They want the evidence released because they're pretty sure that this guy had nothing to do with it. And right now I'm drawing a blank for the guy's name, but you guys have a great night, Mino and Paula, for sure. Stay safe. Hey, Grandma Sherry, how are you? Good to see you. So let's play this here. This is I'll play the other one too.
Paying attention to this, we could learn a lot more in the case, but we'll have to wait about a month. If this search warrant is
So this was done a few days ago. The attorneys are fighting to unseal evidence related to the person of interest in the Jody Huntrud case. So she was the reporter that went missing one morning after going to work. She's never been found. They blamed the friend of hers. He's kind of been a suspect for forever in this case. But they're trying to get,
unsealed, it could
they're trying to get the search warrant unsealed to kind of clear him, because I think they're pretty close to clearing him.
reveal key information as to what investigators know about the disappearance of Iowa News anchor 27-year-old Jody Huntrud. But there hasn't ever been enough to charge anyone for anything in the case. In 2017, something prompted police to get a search warrant for cars belonging to Jody's friend, John Van Cise, who was living here in Phoenix. Now we might learn why.
You are watching News Channel 3 Daybreak. The time is 6 o'clock, 64 degrees, some light showers falling in North Iowa.
Coworkers and friends knew something was wrong on June 27, 1995, when Jody Huntrud didn't show up for her morning news shift. Though never seen again, she was declared dead in 2001. But police haven't stopped searching for her killer, worried about what.
Always good to see you in the chat, Grandma Sherry. I appreciate you guys coming in. Hope you're well.
Releasing crucial information to the public about the case could do.
I have no idea why, when we have a difficult case, that it makes any bit of sense to open up these records that law enforcement are telling us will hinder their investigation.
Two sides in Iowa court Monday as the defense fights to unseal a 2017 search warrant of 2 cars belonging to John Van Cise, a longtime person of interest in Jody's case.
And have you had a chance to physically observe these 2 vehicles before?
I have, out in Arizona.
The hearing brought on by private.
So this guy here, this private investigator, has been on this case forever. And we played what he had to say a few months ago, and we covered the latest on this here. But the family really wants to get this stuff unsealed here. I think the judge is reluctant to unseal everything because of the harm it may cause the case, but I think he's okay with redacting some of it and releasing some of it. So,
brought on by private investigator Steve Ridge, who forged a relationship with Van Cise years after he moved from Iowa. And
so this is the guy here that's pretty much been in the spotlight of this case the whole time. I don't think he has anything to do with this. This is just my opinion. But it's possible. But I think that's the reason why the family. I think they've pretty much cleared him. He's dead anyway, so it doesn't really matter.
Settled in Phoenix.
Actually, I made multiple trips to Phoenix area and visited the residence of John Van Cise multiple times.
Van Cise had long maintained his innocence, but claimed he was the last person to see Jody alive, telling investigators she stopped by his.
We'll leave you, Heather. We'll still be here. I don't even bother with the tub. It's a 911 call. I don't want kids to have to make. Very sad.
the apartment the night before she went missing to watch a video of a birthday party he had thrown for her. For unknown reasons in 2017, detectives got a search warrant for GPS data from a Honda Civic and a GMC 1500, both linked to Van Cise. But every year since, a judge has ruled to keep those records sealed. The state explains why.
In this affidavit is case facts. It's case facts and circumstances that go all the way back to June of 1995. And they have very specific information about the case.
They feel releasing the info could.
So there's her car there. That's the car. I don't think she owned the car yet. She was kind of in the process of buying this car.
Compromise their investigation. But now John Van Cise cannot be charged for any crime because the attorneys say he died in December.
What's changed? Now, the thing that's changed is that Arthur John Van Cise has passed away. But that doesn't mean that.
Gail, you're so awesome. Thank you so much for coming in. We definitely want you to feel better. And we hope you feel better. Try some of the stuff that some of the chatters have been talking about in here, but I definitely think you should get another opinion of what's going on. And definitely get some pain stuff. But we're thinking about you. We hope you have a great week. Thank you so much for coming in. You're always welcome here, Gail. Have a great week for sure. Keep us posted, please.
That this investigation is over.
In the past, the Mason City police chief said the warrant did not result in any useful information. The defense says the Van Cise family deserves to know what was discovered.
The family needs closure on this, Your Honor. They need this opened up and unsealed so they can receive closure after his death, to know that he is no longer being investigated for something he never be charged with.
Now, the judge also asked about the ability to release parts of the warrant, indicating that might be the direction he's going to rule. So that information that needs to stay confidential does. We expect the judge's decision within 30 days. About 6 years ago, when I knocked on Van Cise's door, he opened up and listened to me for a few seconds before closing the door on my questions. Ever since, he has never opened the door again when we've tried. It's crazy.
30
it is
years,
crazy.
and there's just so many unanswered questions.
30-year anniversary coming up in June. Of course, the Find Jodi team doesn't want to hurt the case or the search for her at all. She's never been found, declared dead, but she still has never been found. So they obviously want to do what's in the best interest for Jodi's case.
The case.
Yeah, it's a strange case. I don't think he has anything. I don't think he had anything to do with it. He might have, but it's not looking good that they have anything on him anyways, and he's technically dead. So it's like, what are they going to get out of that? But I think the family just wants some of that stuff released so they can kind of move in a direction. You know, they want to know if he's been cleared, if they have anything on him, or it's tough for the families because the families they don't get any information. Law enforcement really doesn't give them a lot of information. All right, so we're going to cover this here, one more case, and we'll get up. This is going to be a little disturbing. This is just another one of these cases here that nobody wants to hear about. But missing teen lured to this here. Lured to man's home, was unalived, dismembered, police say. This was done a day ago. This was in St. Petersburg, Florida. St. Petersburg Police Department announced that a teenage girl was unalived by a man who lured her through social media. And this is going to be a little disturbing, but this is something that everybody should have conversations with the children about to make sure that they don't talk to strange people online and leave anything that they say. So here we go. It's only 2 minutes and 46 seconds. So triggering alert here.
Kate, it's hard to imagine anyone could be so brutally cruel, but St. Petersburg police have identified a man, they say, kidnapped a teenage girl, killed her, dismembered her body, and then dumped her remains. Authorities believe Stephen Gress drove to this dumpster in Ruskin to dispose of 16-year-old Miranda Corset, but that was 2 weeks.
It's absolutely sick pieces of absolutely sick dog shit. I mean, this is Jennifer Soto, Madeline Soto stuff here.
Weeks ago, and whatever he left there has been hauled to a landfill. Investigators are now looking for Michelle Brandis. They believe that she was with Gress. He tried to hide Miranda's body. News Channel 8's Nicole Rogers is covering this story for us tonight. Nicole, it's hard for anyone not to be rattled by the violent nature of these crimes.
Keith, you know, some of the people I spoke with here in St. Petersburg say this story just makes your stomach turn, let alone the gruesome details. But the fact that it happened here in one of our communities. But still, as this investigation continues tonight, there are still some questions left unanswered.
A neighborhood in dismay after hearing the gruesome details of a teenager murdered nearby.
Thought of what occurred was very, very, very disappointing to me because I never thought that this guy had the capabilities to allegedly do what they said he did.
St. Pete Police Chief Anthony Holloway says 16-year-old Miranda Cosette was lured through a social media app to meet 35-year-old Stephen Gress on Valentine's Day. Investigators say on February 20th, they got into an argument over a piece of jewelry.
So from the 20th to 24th, she was beaten and tortured because they could not find this piece of jewelry.
Chief Holloway says what happened next was unimaginable.
She was then killed. Mr. Gress placed her body in his car along with his domestic partner, Michelle Brandis, and they drove her to Largo.
And that brings us here to a home Chief Holloway says belonged to Brandis's mother.
Miranda was dismembered at that location. They then placed her in a car and they drove her down to Ruskin where they dumped her into a dumpster, and her body is somewhere possibly in a landfill somewhere in that county.
His message for Brandis?
Michelle, if you're out there, we're trying to tell you to turn yourself in because we will find you sooner or later. If anybody out there is trying to help Michelle, if we can, we will charge you.
And while at this hour, she hasn't been charged with a crime, Chief Holloway says Brandis has witnesses that say that she was there while the defendant was putting.
Yeah, I mean, I think it happens a little bit more than people think it does. Sometimes people are just bent on, kidnapping children for forever. It happens happens a lot. A lot of times it's somebody that's close, for sure. But you just want to believe that these people here may not be right upstairs. I mean, I guess you can understand the mom wanting to have the child, but at the same time, it's just not okay. It's just not okay because it's just ruined two people's lives, literally.
That teenager's body in the car, and now the hunt for her continues. For now, live in St. Pete, Nicole Rogers, 8 on your side.
These people here that do this stuff, man, the missing these lures here, these online pedophiles, online, probably shouldn't have said that word, POs. They're just despicable human beings. They should not be allowed to roam streets whatsoever. I have no sympathy for them whatsoever at all. None. Zippo. They all need to just go away. All right. So we'll get into a little bit of this. They had a girl kidnapped from my town that was held for a long time. Yeah. It happens more than people think it does. It's just sick. All right, so let me play this Gene Hackman stuff. Hold on a second. I didn't know we were going to lose an hour tonight. I apologize for that. I would have come on an hour earlier. So this is going on here in the Gene Hackman case. And I actually believe this to a point. He had severe dementia. I think he was 95, and I think they said he had Alzheimer's, so he might have not even known who his wife was. It's just such a sad case. This guy lived a very good life. He worked hard for his career, and to be found like this here and have his wife found that way, it's just I don't know, just awful.
Gene Hackman's cause of death revealed. It is tragic, sad. Officials tonight say the actor's wife died a week before Hackman. His longtime love, Betsy Arakawa, died of hantavirus. It's a rare flu-like disease linked to rats. And officials say Hackman's advanced Alzheimer's was so severe that he lived in their New Mexico house, or survived, might be the better word, for a week with his wife's dead body before he also passed away. It is a terrible tragedy. And Veronica Miracle.
He might not have even known who she was. I mean, strange how nobody was called, though, that there wasn't any, but I heard that they were kind of recluses and they kind of didn't really talk to too many people or do too much. I mean, what could he do? He was, Alzheimer's is bad news. It's I don't know, just a sad. This is a sad story here.
Is out front in New Mexico tonight with new details.
A mystery that captured the world's attention now appears to be a terrible tragedy.
Hey, buddy, what's going on? It's Ruckus Rocks is in here. Good to see you, buddy. Why was the dog in the closet? I have no idea. I don't think we're going to ever find that out. I think the dog was in the closet because he might have got stuck in there, maybe. Other than that, I have no idea. Sometimes dogs will stay by. I've heard of dogs staying by their owners for as long as they possibly can, and because depending on how they brand with the owner, they may just sit there and die by the owner. Who knows? I don't know. I have no idea. I find it hard to believe. One thing I don't understand about this case is why there were pills scattered all over the place.
Oscar winner Gene Hackman, in ailing health and suffering from Alzheimer's, was likely with his wife's body for days after she.
Pretty sure, though, that once they get the toxicology report back, there'll be a little bit more. The dog had surgery and was in a kennel. Okay, that'll do it. Yep. I heard, though, that the dog was in the closet. Maybe the kennel was in the closet. I don't know. I know one of the dogs, I think, was running around outside. This guy here was old, 95 years old. And plus he had Alzheimer's and who knows.
She suddenly died of an infectious disease.
The cause of death for Miss Betsy Hackman, aged 65 years, is hantavirus pulmonary syndrome. The manner of death is natural.
Humans can get the rare hantavirus disease from.
I think this is not a northern thing. This is more of a southwestern type thing where you have these types of rodents that just feed off of stuff in the house, and they're dangerous. They're bacteria everywhere. I mean, these mice and rodents are bad news.
From contact with rodents, and it's transmitted to people through their feces or urine. Investigators say she died suddenly, likely a week before her husband.
Was he aware that Miss Hackman had died? And I think that question's difficult.
That's a good one. That is a good one. I like that one. Every day you drive a new car.
Difficult to answer, but I can tell you that he was in an advanced state of Alzheimer's, and it's quite possible that he was not aware that she was deceased. The cause of death for Mr. Gene Hackman.
Yeah, that's what I think. I don't think he really knew who he was or who she was. So it's possible that he might have walked by her several times and thought nothing of it. The only thing I thought it might have been the other way around is I thought maybe that he might have died first and then she died trying to get pills. Maybe she fell in the bathroom or something like that. I don't know. It's I'm surprised that dogs didn't. I've heard that dogs sometimes will, but the dog was in the closet. One was in a kennel and one was outside. But you'd be surprised what dogs can do with remains.
Aged 95 years, is hypertensive and atherosclerotic cardiovascular disease, with Alzheimer's disease as a significant contributory factor.
Hackman's pacemaker data showed he likely died on February 18th, according to investigators. Betsy was last seen on surveillance video at a local CVS and grocery store on February 11th. While they don't know.
Yeah, who's that Gene guy? I'll always remember him. You know, Gene Hackman to me was one of the top 10 actors in my life. I mean, nobody played Lex Luthor like he did. And he was so good in the Poseidon Adventure. I mean, that was such a good movie. He was one of those guys. He's one of those actors that he could play the good guy, you know, the good guy, but he could also play the bad guy too. Yeah, this is fucking funny from Grandma Sherry. It's fucking classic.
Know her exact time of death. They believe she died that day. Officials say hantavirus is a serious disease, but rare. The Santa Fe County Fire Chief isn't aware of the last case they've had in the county.
Hantavirus pulmonary syndrome is a rare disease caused by hantaviruses. But
lady right here is probably the smartest person I've seen in my life. She literally got up here and just told people the truth, and she's just very intelligent.
a small number of human infections are found every year in New Mexico. 42% of these infections here in New Mexico were fatal.
On February 26th, the couple were discovered dead by maintenance workers. Officials did not find any signs of forced entry, but considered the circumstances suspicious enough to warrant a thorough investigation. The 95-year-old actor was found on the ground in a mudroom, according to a search warrant. Arakawa Hackman was...
There's that movie with Adam Sandler and 50 First Dates when he goes to the clinic and he meets the guy that forgets things every 5 seconds. Movie.
Was found on the ground inside a bathroom next to an open prescription pill bottle with pills scattered. One of the couple's 3 dogs was found dead in a locked crate near Arakawa's body. The dog had recently visited the vet before Betsy died.
There was a procedure that was done with the dog, which may explain why the dog was in a crate at the residence.
Officials are still waiting for the...
Poor dog, too. I mean, that's... couldn't get out of the kennel. That sucks. Charlotte, very brutal. I hate my gray hair coming in. I like gray. Gray hair looks good. 10-Second Tommy. Is that a movie? I don't think that was. I don't think I've seen all of his movies, but he had some good ones for sure, no doubt. Runaway Jury was good too. If the dog was in the cage, then the dog's human dies. The dog could have been making a noise. Maybe Gene put crate in the closet. It's all mechanical. Yeah, who knows? I think that the dog, the saying here, we're all getting old. None of us are getting younger. And none of us are getting out of here alive, unfortunately. 50 First Dates, 10-Second Tommy. Oh, yes. 10-Second Tommy. That guy was so funny.
Cause of death for the dog, but they can say it didn't die of hantavirus, as dogs can't get the disease. They believe the dog may have died from starvation.
And Aaron.
Yeah, it gets hot in New Mexico too. I don't know how long dogs can last without water. I don't even know what kind of dog it was, so that might be a problem too.
And Betsy was 30 years younger.
And he wasn't going to feed the dog, that's for sure. He probably didn't even know where he was. I'm surprised he didn't wander off with the door. That's weird. I found my first gray something. Hey. Yikes.
Than Gene and appeared to be his caretaker. So when she died, it appears there's no one to care for him. The medical examiner says that he did not have any food in his stomach when he died. In terms of the investigation,
it's so weird. Don't you think would have had some sort of a backup plan for that? Like some sort of didn't they have a maintenance worker? Usually these people have some sort of a name that comes in, or somebody that takes care of the house. It's just so weird. I think it's weird how there was no like backup plan or security thing where what happens if she goes out and he's walking around the house by himself? I mean, it seems like it's a really weird system where she was the only one taking care of him. Really, does that make any sense to you?
As far as what's next, it is still an open investigation. They're reviewing cell phone records. They also are going to review the results of the necropsy of the dog, and they're going to be releasing big camera footage of those deputies who arrived.
Right. I mean, that's the only thing that I think these I'm not trying to generalize all these things, but most of these actors and people who have a lot of money like this here, they have hired people that take care of these things. You know, like it seems like this whole situation could have been averted at some point, especially for her. I mean, he's 95, so he's on the way out anyways, but I don't know. It's just weird. It's just a weird thing. Of course, you can't trust anybody either. Them every couple of days. I don't know. It's just weird.
But authorities say this is winding down. Aaron.
All right, Veronica, thank you very much. Dr. Peter Hotez is out front now, the Dean of Tropical Medicine at the Baylor College of Medicine, where the school does a lot of research on hantavirus. And Dr. Hotez, of course, a world-renowned infectious disease expert. So, Doctor, this is just such a where hantavirus is and how Gene Hackman's wife, Betsy, could have even contracted it.
Yeah, Aaron, it's rare, but there are about a handful of cases every year.
So, orthohantavirus is a genus of viruses that includes all of hantaviruses, family Hantaviridae, that cause disease in humans. Orthohantaviruses, hereafter referred to as hantaviruses, are naturally found primarily in rodents. In general, each hantavirus is carried by one rodent species, and each rodent that carries a hantavirus carries one hantavirus species. So there's all kinds of them. Hantaviruses in their natural reservoirs usually cause an asymptomatic, persistent infection. In humans, however, hantaviruses cause two diseases: hemorrhagic fever with Raynaud syndrome and hantavirus pulmonary system. HFRS is mainly caused by hantaviruses in Africa, Asia, and Europe. And Old World hantaviruses. And HPS is usually caused by hantaviruses in the Americas called New World hantaviruses. They're transmitted mainly by aerosols and droplets that contain rodent excretions, as well as contaminated food, bites, and scratches. Human-to-human transmission does not occur. HFRS is marked by kidney disease with kidney swelling, excess protein in urine, and blood and urine. The case fatality rate at HFRS varies from less than 1% to 15%, depending on the virus. A mild form of HFRS, often called nephropathia epidemica, is often caused by headache, fever, muscle pain, followed by sudden respiratory failure. HPS has a higher case fatality, 30 to 60%. Illnesses is the result of increased vascular permeability, decreased platelet count, and overreaction of the immune system. Let's see if there's any. Hantavirus was first discovered in the Korean War. That's amazing. Transmission illnesses on humans are so it's rodent to human, but humans can't pass it to each other. So it's not a contagious thing that they know of. Trying to look for any type of life cycle. That's it. Okay, so let's go back to this here.
Year in New Mexico, 7, I think, in 2024 and 7 cases in 2023. I think this may have been the first case this year. That tends to occur more in the northwestern part of the state rather than in Santa Fe. And the reason is because there's a type of mouse called a deer mouse that can harbor the virus with no symptoms. And
good luck, buddy. Thanks for coming in, man. Good to see you. I think that she didn't want to be admitted to the hospital and not be there for him. Right, but you would have thought that he would have been it's just so weird. 95, you would think that he'd have some sort of a I don't want to say live in this, but some sort of a, I don't know, especially with Alzheimer's. You would think that there'd be somebody there for him if she went, like, say she went to her family's for a week there to that's just weird to me. But I mean, people are really recluse. You know, his issues for, he just didn't know anybody. So Alzheimer's, but that even more, I would think that there'd be somebody to come by and take a look at him once a week or whatever.
What happens is if there's a mouse infestation in your home, the mice get in through various holes in the home or in the housing, then their urine and their other bodily fluids can contain virus. That virus can aerosolize. And then in this case, unfortunately, she likely inhaled the virus through the aerosol. Sometimes it gets into the cuts in the skin. And then you can have a pretty rapid deteriorating course.
So let me ask you about that, because she last left their home on February 11th, last time she sent communication. So she goes to the pharmacy, and they believe she died that day. Now, she was obviously well enough to go to the pharmacy. Just knowing how this disease progresses, would someone be well enough to do that and look fine on surveillance camera? She didn't look visibly ill, and die that same day. Could it have been such a rapid deterioration? And prior to that, would it have just felt like the flu, or would you have known you were possibly very sick?
Yeah, you can deteriorate very rapidly, and that's one of the reasons why it has such a high mortality rate, because it requires intensive care for your heart and lungs. What happens is it begins as a flu-like illness with body aches and fever, sometimes headaches as well. And you can proceed like that for a couple of days. And once the virus is affecting the heart and lungs, it causes pulmonary edema. Your lungs fill up with fluid, causes inflammation of the heart. Very severe.
Weird. I think a lot of careers get slowly left to carry on. Carers get slowly left to carry on. People step away socially as embarrassed. It's often seen as a duty. You try to protect all that person was. Yeah. Yeah, it's kind of crazy. It's just weird to me, because a lot of these people have some people actually have live-in people that live with them to make sure something like this doesn't happen. Because there's a lot at stake. You get a lot of these people are surrounded by people sometimes that are trying to take advantage of them all the time. It's weird that he didn't have anybody like that. All right, so I want to play one more thing, and then I'm out of here. It's going to be really quick. I thought this was kind of funny, but I saw this the other day on my news feed, and I thought this was hysterical. Nobody got hurt, so that's the good news. But you're going to watch this ATV come barrel-assing around here to get, in front of the camera here. You're going to see what happens. It's so funny. Watch your face. Watch this person's face. These people want to get on the news so badly. I can't stop. This is freaking classic. is the stuff I live for right here, man. Watch this. Watch her face. Oh, there's always somebody, right? There's always a village idiot. I gotta play this again. I've watched this 1,000 times already. These people are just so attention getting that they had to get themselves on camera, right? And they ended up doing this. This is just so.
You guys okay?
Just my pride's hurt just a little bit. Hey, Miranda, how are you? You missed it? Do you want to see it again? That's freaking hilarious. Hey, Miranda, how are you? Good to see you. Watch this. This is the funniest thing I've ever seen in my life. This woman here is getting ready to do a news report, and these idiots on this ATV are going to come, try to get, themselves on camera. It's just so, it's almost as funny as the guy jumping over the judge's bench there. This is like really, her face is priceless. It's just, here they come. Oh my God, these two people right here. Look at her face. Oh my God, it's the funniest thing. Obviously, I'm glad nobody got hurt, but people are so dumb. Oh.
You guys okay?
It's always good to see you, Miranda. Yeah, we're an hour ahead now, so that's probably why you woke up. They just changed the clocks on us like that all the time. All right, so I'm going to get out of here. Took up enough of your time tonight. I just wanted to play that because that's it's awesome. It's awesome. It's the funniest thing I've ever seen. All right, so just want to thank everybody for coming in. Sorry I was late tonight. It's already 5 o'clock. Holy shit. All right, so Miranda, thank you for coming in. Sorry, I'm going to get out of here, but I've been on here almost 3 hours, technically 4. Good to see you, Miranda. Hope you're well. Heather Brown, you're amazing. Just keep us in the loop of what's going on with you two. Love everybody here in the chat. Charlotte, you're amazing. Thank you so much for coming in all the time. Hope you're well. Grandma Sherry, you're great. Thank you so much. Good to see you tonight. Jenny 8675309. Thank you for all the information regarding the case we talked about tonight out there in Oregon, the Miller case. I'm going to keep an eye on that too. I'm doing a double on episode 2 on that next week. I didn't get into a lot of the stuff that I wanted to get into because we lost an hour, but I'll try to catch up next week on that stuff here. Always good to see Jenny though. I said hi to Charlotte already. Southern Gal, you're awesome. Thank you so much for coming in. Southern Gal's an amazing creator. She does fantastic work. I don't know where I'd be without her. She always does well here. I hope she's well. I hope she's doing good. She's probably exhausted from being on vacation. Ruckus Rocks, thanks for coming in. Who else was here? I know that JCN was here. JCN has a great channel. Paula Fitzhenry has a great channel too. Check them out. Who else was in here? Mino Dino's great. Mino Dino's awesome. Always good to see him here in the chat. Let's see, I'm probably not going to get to everybody. Who else was in here? Gail Hurd. I hope she feels better. Just keep us in the loop, Gail. We hope you get better soon for sure. Let's see here. I know that I do appreciate everybody coming in. I appreciate all the people who watch on the replay. I appreciate that too, because if it wasn't for the replay people, I'd have no views at all. It's funny. And I know I'm on late. I'm going to try to do some more lives during the week. I'm trying to put together some sort of a schedule to do at least one more live a week during normal hours, I guess. Let's see here. I know I'm going to miss some people. I apologize for that. The thing is that when I go back through the chat, it takes forever to scroll up, and sometimes it won't even let me. So, but I do like to thank people for coming in. Lisa Joe, thank you so much for coming in. I'm still checking in on that case too, from Lisa Joe. I hope Barbara's okay. But Lisa Joe was in here. We're glad Lisa Joe was in here. All right, so that's it. If I missed anybody, I'm sorry. Appreciate everybody for coming in. But I hope everybody has a great week. Try to stay safe. Don't die. Let's see here. I'll play my outro. Get out of here. Thank you, everybody. Stay safe. And get better soon. Thank you, Miranda. You're awesome too. Hope you're doing well. You're a great person. Very, very good person. All right, let me get out of here. Play my outro. Like I said again, I'm sorry I was late tonight. I was out getting footage. Everybody have a great week and stay safe. Thank you.